I'm Jonathan Lawson. If you're 50 to 85, I have an important message about security. Write down the number on your screen so you can call when I finish. The lock I want to talk to you about isn't the one on your door. This is a lock for your life insurance, a rate lock that guarantees that once you're insured, your rate can never go up at any time for any reason. But be careful. Many policies you see do not have one. But you can get a lifetime rate lock from Colonial Penn. Call this number to learn more. This plan was designed with a rate lock for people on a fixed income who want life insurance that fits their budget and is simple to get. Coverage options start at $9.95 a month, less than 35 cents a day. Act now, and your rate will be locked in for life. It will never increase, guaranteed. This is lifelong coverage that can never be canceled as long as you pay your premiums, guaranteed. And your acceptance is guaranteed, with no health questions. You cannot be turned down because of your health. Call for your information kit and read about this rate lock for yourself. You'll also get a free beneficiary planner. Both are free with no obligation. Don't miss out. Call for information, then decide. Read about the 30-day 100% money-back guarantee. Don't wait. Call this number now.
Call now and you'll also get this free beneficiary planner. Use this valuable guide to record important information and your final wishes. And it's yours free just for calling. So don't wait. Call 1-800-355-9660. That's 1-800-355-9660. There's no risk or obligation. That number again is 1-800-355-9660. That's 1-800-355-9660. Call now.
Welcome back. President Trump is set to host Venezuelan opposition leader Maria Corina Machado at the White House today, and we will be covering it live.
This comes as breaking news continues out of the Caribbean Sea, where the U.S. Coast Guard has seized a sixth sanctioned oil tanker.
Also, the president is threatening to invoke the Insurrection Act if Minnesota activists do not stop attacking ICE agents, as he should, Krisha.
Yeah, so many stories we will be following for you right here on Newsmax. And with respect to that breaking news, the seizing of another oil tanker, this seems to be, again, yet another strategic strike by the president. And we'll be following this as we see many of these oil tankers with foreign flags on them from various countries around the world.
Yeah, definitely a signal and a warning to the interim president, Rodriguez of Venezuela.
Right.
Why? Because President Trump is serious about change in Venezuela and so many other places around the world, leading to Iran as well as Gaza. The list goes on.
Here, this oil tanker had a Guianan flag on it, and we've also seen the oil tankers have Iranian flags as well as Chinese flags. So this is just something that is become the norm with respect to this territory part of the Caribbean here. And the U.S. forces are incredibly strong. We've seen the videos such as this one from Southcom and from DHS, how strategic and brave these individuals on the boats are. But stay tuned. All of that and more is coming up straight ahead on Newsmax 2. And that'll do it for us this Thursday morning.
We will see.
You're watching theDove TV, encouraging and informative for Salem, Kaiser, and the Willamette Valley. Seen on KSLM 27 and these Dove TV affiliates. Good morning. You're tuned to theDove, encouraging and informative, helping Oregon, Northern California, Idaho, and Nevada start the day with news and encouragement. This is Mornings on the Dove.
Good morning and welcome to Mornings on the Dove for this, here it is, Thursday morning. Better known as Friday. Yeah! And you're still going to have to feel your way to work this morning in some areas.
Is the truth. I thought maybe we'd have a little less today, but no, it's pretty soupy out there.
Well, let me qualify that because we have an interesting thing going on.
What?
The south end of the valley is clear.
Yeah.
The north end of the valley, from about the Manor North, it's just socked in, including the airport. And we're also dealing with what they call an air stagnation alarm. So the air quality's not good.
Right.
Fog's on the ground. It's icy and slippery. I did slip a little bit this morning.
Yeah.
I went around a corner and went,
don't step on it.
Just a little bit to let you know that it was there, you know?
Yeah. Hey, do you have one of those little lights on your dash that indicates when you're losing traction to your tires?
Well, in Peggy's car, yes.
Okay, because my little lights flash, I'm going, what's going on?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, it's slipping. Oh,
So she's got this thing on the dash. Is it okay to take a hammer to a dash?
whose dash? Peggy's?
I'm driving her car, right?
Uh-huh.
And I'm looking around, and all of a sudden, beep, 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 and there's a little thing on the down by the speedometer.
Right.
Keep your eyes on the road.
Oh, no way. No way.
Yes.
Are you serious?
So there's two little things in the front and on the side that's watching your eyeballs.
Because you have that's got self-driving assist, doesn't it?
Yeah,
Yes.
it's kind of like, the interesting thing about that reminds me of what the Holy Spirit is.
All right.
Well, the Holy Spirit, if you're driving down, if you're doing something wrong and you're starting to go off a little bit, doesn't the Holy Spirit kind of nudge you back?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, my car's full of the Holy Spirit.
Holy Spirit.
Well, Peggy's car is, okay. But it's got this stupid, aggravating feature that if you just looked this way, if I was driving right now and looked at you, it would beat me.
It's the goad. Oh, my goodness.
Anyway, hey, good morning to you. Happy Wednesday. Drive carefully. Bottom line out there, drive carefully. Good morning to you. A ton of news. Wow. It's ever-changing, and we'll get you up. Excuse me. We'll get you updated on that. What's up?
Well, I think here is something on this day that most of us can really agree upon. It's a good thing. We all probably could use one right now. I know I could. It's National Bagel Day.
Oh!
Yeah! A kosher complex carbohydrate. It has lots of flavors and really spruces up your deli and sandwich bar. Polish Jewish immigrants introduced the bagel to the United States. Throughout New York City and the surrounding boroughs, they grew thriving businesses. And of course, it didn't take long for the bakers to organize. Check this out. In 1907, they created the International Bagel Bakers Union. And for decades, Bagel Bakers Local 338 held contracts with nearly all bagel bakeries for its workers in and around the city. I had no idea that bagels were so important they had their own union.
Whoa.
That's pretty amazing.
So you have bagels, cream cheese, and lox?
There you go. And I worked once as when I was way back in my early years, I worked part-time in a bagel shop in New York City.
Wow.
Yeah, I knew all the ins and outs and all the real bagels, the water bagels. Oh, it's just the best. Now, where do you get your bagels?
Well, Costco.
Yeah, I think most of us do.
Okay,
Yeah.
so what's interesting about it, we had some here the other day,
Yep.
and they were like 18 weeks old. Like that. But you can nuke them for about 8 seconds.
Yeah, or toast them.
Yeah. And they softened right up.
Absolutely.
And then I tried something, and it was
What?
kind of weird, but it tastes good.
What?
Cream cheese and peanut butter.
Now that's a twist I haven't done yet.
Yeah, cream cheese and peanut butter on this bagel that after you nuked it, it was like chewing on a tire. It was really rubbery.
Yeah, you better be careful. You might want to use it as a tire.
Okay, there you go.
Enjoy your bagels. And then for a little dessert, have some ice cream. It's strawberry ice cream day today, made by blending either strawberries or strawberry flavoring with eggs, cream, vanilla, and sugar. Food coloring is often used to give it the pink or the light red hue, but I think most of us like ours homemade, with no preservatives, with no food dyes and colors. And RFK Jr. would be happy about that.
Take
but it's the
vanilla
best.
ice cream and put strawberries in it.
There you go.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Mix it up.
And while you're having your bagels and ice cream, put your hat on. It's National Hat Day. Check out these hats. This is really good. Did you know that the earliest evidence of hats dates back to ancient civilizations such as Egypt, where paintings and artifacts depict people wearing head coverings made from straw, reeds, or animal skins? Hats were originally designed for practical purposes, providing protection from sun, rain, wind, and cold weather. Of course, a good one for that is a fedora or a Stetson. Stetson's good. Throughout history, hats have been used to signify social status and rank. In many cultures, the type of a hat a person wore indicated their position in society, and hats have even held religious significance in many cultures, with certain head coverings worn as part of religious rituals and ceremonies. And of course, you got to have the fashion as well, because hats have evolved dramatically over time, with styles and trends changing to reflect reflect shifts in fashion, technology, and culture. And now all the rage, I like the Stetson, and I'll go for a Stetson any day. But these days, we're all kind of wrapped into the ball cap syndrome, aren't we? Everybody's wearing ball caps.
Well, it's either a ball cap or a cowboy hat.
Yep, you're right. Yeah.
And then it would come down to, I guess, the flat cap.
Yep, flat caps are good too.
Yeah.
But
the cowboy hat thing is so interesting. I've been watching some videos, YouTube videos.
Uh-huh.
You can go, it's really popular. You go into a hat shop.
yeah.
Is that still called a haberdashery?
I think so.
All right, so you go into a haberdashery, but this would be a cowboy saddle shop. You go into a saddle shop, and there's all these hats on the shelf up there, and you pick one.
All right.
Or they can make it to the shape of your head.
Okay, yeah.
And it has a lot to do with the material,
Okay.
whether you're going to use beaver or mink or whatever, you know.
Right, right.
And they're pretty expensive. And then they start shaping it with steam and start shaping it for you. It's quite an art.
Yeah, yeah.
quite an art.
You know, hats had a big part of the expansion of our country.
Yes.
It really did, because when Thomas Jefferson had the Louisiana Purchase, Lewis and Clark went out and they said that the beaver supply was in abundance and inexhaustible. And at that time, those pelts were worth a lot because of hats.
Hats.
Yeah.
Well, if you were to get a quadruple X beaver
Okay.
from Stetson,
Yeah.
it would wipe out your 401k.
Ah, yeah. Yeah, because they still make the real deal, don't they?
They do, yeah. Pretty
indeed.
expensive
All right.
stuff.
Okay.
All right, well, here's a guy that would put avocados, cream cheese, and jalapeno on his bagel.
Yeah.
High pressure remains firmly established over the Pacific Northwest, so today in northern Oregon and southern Washington, mostly sunny skies with daytime highs in the mid-50s from Vancouver through Portland, Wilsonville, and McMinnville. Moving down the Willamette Valley, decreasing clouds becoming sunny in low 50s in Salem and Albany, early patchy dense fog, then sunny in near 52 in Corvallis and 49 in Eugene with lows in the 30s. Sunny skies today over central Oregon with daytime high temperatures in the mid-50s for Prineville and Bend and low 50s in Sun River. Over in Boise, Idaho, patchy fog, then clearing to sunny in upper 30s. Sunny up and down the Oregon coast with daytime highs near 57 in Coos Bay, low 60s for Port Orford and near 64 in Brookings and Crescent City, California, with a light northeast wind. In southern Oregon, air stagnation advisories continue with sunny skies for the Rogue Valley and Klamath Basin, with high temperatures near 44 in Grants Pass, 48 in Medford, 56 in Ashland, and 49 in Klamath Falls. Into northern California, sunny and low to mid-50s around Wairika, sunny in Redding and Chico with highs in the mid-upper 60s. In Sacramento, mostly sunny with a high near 61. Sunny skies today across the Bay Area with daytime high temperatures in the mid to upper 60s in Santa Rosa and Napa, near 64 in San Francisco with a light northeast wind, and a high near 71 in San Jose. It's a snapshot of your Thursday weather from Grange Co-op.
Well, there you can see it.
Yeah.
Parts of the southern part of the valley are open, and then around the western edge in the northern part of the valley, it's socked in, and it's right down in the ground. It's wet and icy. So be careful.
But it makes a beautiful shot, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
That's really nice.
Wow. Well, Pastor Greg Laurie, who lost his own son, looks at the love of a father who forsook his own son that we might have life.
Jesus was sweating blood as he thought about it and said, Father, if it's possible, let this cup pass from me. Nevertheless, not my will, but yours be done. What was Jesus recoiling from? He was recoiling from taking the sin of the world upon himself. He who was holy would bear everything that was unholy. He who was sinless would take upon himself everything that was sinful. All the sin of humanity. My sin's bad enough. Yours makes it even worse. Imagine the whole human race poured upon him as he died in our place as a substitute. And that is why he cried out, Eli, Eli, lama sabachthani, which means, my God, why have you forsaken me? But Jesus was forsaken so I could be forgiven. He died in my place. He died for you and for me. He came to pay a debt he did not owe because we owed a debt we could not pay. Take your son, says God, your only son whom you love. What do we read in John 3:16? For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son.
There you go. Well, that's the gospel in a nutshell right there. All right, 11 minutes now past the hour on this icy, foggy Thursday morning. Let's take a look at things and see what's going on out there. And this is kind of interesting. Iran very much in the news as far as international headlines are concerned, but here's one. Iran issued a direct assassination threat against President Trump yesterday, airing a chilling image on state television showing Trump during the 2024 rally shooting at Butler, Pennsylvania, with the warning, "This time we will not miss the target."
Wow. What? How do you respond to this if you're the president?
Well, all talk's off.
Yeah, all talk's done, yeah.
And I don't know where this is going to go. The president said yesterday that the shooting of the citizens in Iran had stopped.
Yeah.
But is it temporary?
I don't know. Yeah, good question.
Is Iran trolling the president, so to speak? We're going to stop the shooting, but we're going to kill you.
Yeah. That could be, yeah.
You know, so I don't know what you do when you have a threat like this over your head. By the way, you got to understand one thing about the radical Islamists. They always announce what they're going to do, and then they do it.
Yeah, you know, that's right.
So anyway, who knows? In the meantime, the beginning talks of Greenland with the Danes isn't going too well.
Oh, gosh.
The top Danish official said Wednesday that the fundamental disagreement over Greenland remains with President Donald Trump after a highly anticipated talk in Washington with Vice President Vance and Secretary Marco Rubio. Apparently, they're talking, but it doesn't seem to be going anywhere. I don't know if money's on the table. I heard a figure yesterday, don't hold me to it, that it went from $100,000 per person to $500,000 per person.
Whoa, really?
Okay, so if you take 500,000 times 60,000, what's that?
I don't know. I'd have to
Is that $3 billion? Is that what it is?
I'd have to count zeros.
I have to do the math on that. Anyway, here's what the Danish representative had to say about the meeting yesterday.
We, the Kingdom of Denmark, continue to believe that also the long-term security of Greenland can be ensured inside the current framework, the 1951 agreement on the defense of Greenland, as well as the NATO treaty. For us, ideas that would not respect territorial integrity of the Kingdom of Denmark and the right of self-determination of the Greenlandic people are, of course, totally unacceptable. And we therefore still have a fundamental disagreement, but we also agree to disagree. And therefore we will, however, continue to talk. We have decided to form a high-level working group to explore if we can find a common way forward. There's clearly a disagreement. We agreed that it makes sense to try to sit down on a high level to explore whether there is possibilities to accommodate the concerns of the President, while we at the same time respect the red lines of the Kingdom of Denmark. So this is the work we will start.
Basically what he's saying, we're open to a deal. I mean, if it was a hard red line, why do they continue to talk?
Yeah.
So, other than, is there a way to accommodate the president? Do we get to put a military base there?
I don't know. That
and that would be the other thing.
In the meantime, did you know that some NATO allies are sending some troops to Greenland right now? Yeah, France, Germany, but they sent like 15 guys each.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
well, we'll see where this is going. This is the beginning stages.
Yeah.
All right. Well, this is interesting. The House Oversight Committee, they're kind of an interesting bunch. Chairman James Comer is the guy that is the chairman there. That he said he would move forward to hold former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton in contempt of Congress over her failure to appear for the deposition related to Jeffrey Epstein And apparently, next on the list would be former President Clinton himself.
Yeah.
Now, here's the deal.
What?
This isn't a indictment. This is a deposition.
Right. Right.
In the meantime, former President Clinton had said, release everything.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Get it all out there.
Right.
Well, then why don't you want to come and testify?
Yeah, great question. Yeah.
So anyway,
what are the consequences? They're saying basically Clinton said you have no authority to call me back in and have me testify on anything. Are you kidding? You're a citizen. Congress can call anybody in, can't they?
yes.
Huh?
Okay, does he have presidential immunity?
I don't know. That's a huge...
And his wife doesn't?
I don't know. Yeah.
You almost, I don't know why they're not. I mean, they're calling for complete transparency of the issue.
Right.
And then they don't want to talk about it.
That's interesting.
Only in America.
Only in America, yeah.
Oh, wait, it's early. Give it a couple hours. That all could change. All right, so those are some of the top stories today. Drive carefully out there.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to take a bagel break.
Since 1934, Grange Co-op has been more than just a store. We've been a cornerstone of our community, owned by people like you. We proudly offer top-quality farm and ranch supplies, including our own Rogue feed, as well as workwear, Western apparel, garden essentials, and pet care products. By signing up as a Grange Rewards customer, you not only enjoy exclusive benefits like special offers and 1% back on most purchases, but you also become part of something bigger, a cooperative that you own and help shape. Join Grange Rewards today.
I was intrigued by the international news reporting, and then there were also so many stories of hope and encouragement.
When you meet the needs of others, he meets your needs.
One day I came across a video through YouTube of CBN. Terry said, "The Lord's healing you."
I want to see that program every day. It lifts me up. It gives me hope.
Watch the 700 Club weekdays at 11 on the Dove TV.
Welcome to Fish Lake Resort, where adventure is everywhere, and everyone is your friend. The fishing is great, and the food is tasty. The RV sites are full hookup, and the cabins are cozy. It's always a good time at Fish Lake Resort, and the best part is, you can come visit any day of the year because we are open all year, 7 days a week. Visit fishlakeresort.net today to learn more and plan your visit.
Good morning to you. 19 and a half past the hour on a pretty, at least this end of the valley, foggy, icy morning out there. Drive carefully. Well, a little bit of industry news this morning, and the only reason I bring this to you because in time you could be greatly affected by it. But those of us in broadcasting have been watching lately some of the thinking of the FCC, and there is a in our industry there is a television ownership cap rate. In other words, companies can only own so many TVs stations.
Okay, all right.
And that provided large companies that did this, it kind of held it down to where their company would maybe reach a maximum of 39% of the population.
Okay.
Now, the consolidation of our industry is going on, and it's pretty messy and it's complicated, and I won't bore you with all the facts, but there's a move now with the FCC to lift that cap rate and allow companies to consolidate, which could cover 100% of the country. Why is this a problem? Well, can you imagine ABC, CBS, NBC, and other large station group owners, liberal owner of Nexstar, if they were able to buy more television stations and control 100% of the population, the conservative narrative would be completely gone.
Yeah, it'd be gone.
It'd be wiped out.
Yep.
Not to mention, and my interest in this is local involvement. In our own market, we've seen 2 of our biggest stations getting taken over by conglomerates, and their local impact has been reduced to nothing. Now, they have some local news a little bit here and there, but for the most part, their overall involvement in the community is gone. And so this is being pitched at the opposite, that somehow this enhances local ownership. Now, we've had some great changes. Under the Biden administration, we had a horrible time with the FCC. And with Chairman Carr, who's a good guy. I like him a lot. And I like the new FCC, and they're doing a lot of good things, and they're doing a lot of deregulations. However, on this issue, they seem to be leaning towards it. And I think it's because of the lobbying of the big companies. And here's how Chairman Carr, when this whole thing came up, this is how he spun it.
Our primary goal is to promote investment in local broadcasters who provide trusted news and information vital to the communities they serve.
It won't happen. We've seen 2 stations here in our own market get bought out by conglomerates, and the local news influence and coverage has been consolidated and operated from another market. So I am really against this. I think in the long term, this is a huge mistake. And if the conglomerates are allowed to get bigger, then communication as we know it in this country. And besides, folks, this is broadcasting. This has nothing to do with satellite and cable coverage. These companies already have satellite and cable coverage that covers the country.
Right.
Now you're going to let them come in your backyard and own the station?
Wow.
As I have said a million times, and I get nosebleeds from reading FCC stuff, okay? Broadcast is the only communication business that's regulated. Nobody else is. So I bring that to your attention that if this ruling happens to take place, it could be pretty bad for the country. So we'll keep an eye on it. This, not to mention, this is also backed, and I won't bore you with. There's a huge technical reason why this is being pushed by the big companies. It's called ATCS 3.0 technology, and I won't bother you with that combination. But that's one of the major pushes behind this. And where TV companies will no longer be in the broadcasting business, they'll be in the data distribution business.
Really?
Yeah. It's serious stuff. Anyway, I won't bore you with that. That's my life in another zone. It's one of my silos I live in. Here's an interesting. Remember the governor now, she's going to, when they go into special session next month in the state of Oregon, she wants to pull the transportation bill that she
Really?
Yeah, so she's going to put it on the floor and pull it. And apparently she's said she's going to do that. And so what did she do? She didn't want that measure to be on the same ballot that her name is on at the same time. Not to mention the fact they raised 250,000 signatures throughout the state to stop this thing. She realized she was going to lose it.
Right.
So she's going to pull it when they go into special session. Okay, in the meantime, you remember how she flipped this? Well, I'm going to put together a commission to look on how we can improve business in the state of Oregon.
Right, yes.
Remember that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, interestingly enough, beginning next week, she reached out and got former State Senator Tim Knopp to head that up, who is a Republican. I know Tim very well. He's an interesting guy. He's from Bend. They're going to pay him $191,000 a year to be the token Republican on the committee on what it's going to take to improve business in the state of Oregon.
What? Really? What?
I will reserve comment.
Oh, my goodness.
I will reserve comment. Those who play the game, they know exactly what's going on here.
Oh, my gosh.
All right, so there's some of the top stories. Let's take a look at the satellite image. Take a look at this. This is almost looks like Jerry's leg.
No.
That green thing over there on the side.
That green thing over there, yeah.
But look at the West Coast.
Gosh.
We are under severe clear, high-pressure ridge that's pushing all the low pressure to the north of us. And we're in this severe clear, and it's clear and cold and air stagnation.
And you know when I see the next front moving in?
Not till next week.
Never.
Never. There you go.
It ain't coming.
It ain't coming.
Okay, well, we all saw the chief of police in Portland with tears in his eyes saying that, yes, unfortunately, the couple that was shot by customs enforcement officials were truly gang members. And I don't know why it caused a tear in his eye, but of course, no words from him about the protesters confronting legal authorities, law enforcement officers and such. But guess what? In Chicago, another blue bastion, the police chief there, his name is Larry Snelling, and he is being praised nationwide for the moment he stood with ICE instead of the left. Let's listen in to what he had to say.
Let me make this clear. Federal agents, ICE, HSI, are officers. They are agents of law enforcement. If you box them in with vehicles, it is reasonable for them to believe that they are being ambushed and that this could end in a deadly situation. And it's reasonable for them to use force based on those conditions. Do not box in any law enforcement officer. You are breaking the law when you do that. And you are putting yourself in danger. Following law enforcement agents around. The question is why? What do you plan on doing? It's also reasonable for them to believe that you're eventually going to do harm to them. If you ram any vehicle, especially that one that contains law enforcement agents, and that's any law enforcement, local, state, federal, county, and you do this intentionally, this is considered deadly force. Deadly force is anything that can cause great bodily harm or death. When you plow into a vehicle that contains law enforcement agents, you're using deadly force. And they can use deadly force in response to stop you. We need to be clear about these laws. We cannot become a society where we just decide to take everything in our own hands and start to commit crimes against law enforcement. It is a crime. You may not like what they're doing. I can understand that there's a lot of emotions out there, but that does not mean that you get to commit a crime, especially one that could lead to deadly force. We need to keep everyone safe. Our responsibilities when it comes to federal agents, and I've been asked these questions, we do not interfere with the duties and responsibilities of federal agents.
How about that?
So this is the chief of police in Chicago, with a mayor that's encouraging the rioting and a governor that could care less.
Exactly.
Wow.
Yes. And what made me think of this, too, is that we're hearing that in Portland, they're inflamed again. There was another shooting, and Portland Police Department is standing down. They're not backing them up.
Well, this is what a police chief is supposed to do.
Yes.
God bless him.
Yes.
Wow. That is great.
Mm-hmm.
In Chicago.
In Chicago, of all places. Yeah.
Whoa. All right. Well, let's see.
Do you think he's going to be looking for a job? Do you think the mayor is going to say, wait a minute?
Listen, he'll never have to worry about a job.
Amen. You are right.
If they boot him out,
yes,
he'll show up somewhere else.
Yeah.
Maybe in a red state.
Yeah, probably.
I don't know.
Yeah.
That's. By the way, even Fetterman, who's kind of an interesting guy.
Yeah.
He say round up the illegals and get them out of here.
Boy.
So, I don't know. This is very contentious, very emotional. I get all that. The way you settle this is you go to Costco and you buy those 2 bags of variety of bagels.
Yeah.
And you lay them out on the counter.
Okay.
Do you have a bagel cutter?
Me, a knife.
Okay.
That's all I got.
Okay. You lay them out there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
You get the variety of cream cheese, peanut butter, jelly, whatever. You want to do maybe avocados.
Yes.
A little oil.
Yes.
Maybe a little onion.
Okay.
Well, at night, not during the day. Well, during the day. I don't know. But anyway, you put it all out there. Right?
Uh-huh.
That's the answer to everything.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Strawberry ice cream at the end.
At the end.
All right, we'll be right back.
Yes.
Take a stand. Why sit around and wait for a miracle to come? When we can be one. When we can be one.
You feel most alive where you feel most at home. And this is living. Bobcat, the company that changed the way the world works, is coming home with a quality compact tractor built to match your quality of life. This isn't work you have to do. It's work you get to do. So get it done in a tractor that's all you. See your dealer or visit bobcat.com.
Welcome to Rise Direct Primary Care. Imagine a healthcare experience where you're known by name, cared for like family, and treated with compassion. How is that possible? With an affordable flat monthly membership, you receive unlimited primary care and minor urgent care visits. No insurance needed. At Rise Direct Primary Care, we offer a friendly, affordable healthcare experience where you get a whole hour with your provider. Located in Central Medford and accessible by phone or text, we can typically get you in the same or next day. We prescribe urgent care medications directly from our office, saving you a trip and wait time at the pharmacy when you'd rather be at home getting better. Personalized medical care with a human touch. Rise Direct Primary Care is all about healing the sick with compassion and keeping the healthy healthy. Rise Direct Primary Care. We're here for you. Visit risehealthdpc.com or call or text us 541-827-8603. 541-827-8603.
Don't let pain hold you back. I'm Dr. Joel Brind, and I developed Sweetamine to stop inflammation the all-natural way. Just use it like a sweetener once a day. It's that simple. My unique formula harnesses the power of glycine and works around the clock to boost your overall health, stopping chronic inflammation that causes pain. Try my 12-day challenge risk-free for just $19.95 with free shipping at sweetamine.com or call 1-855-GET-SWEET today. Relief has never been so sweet.
Interest to keep that going.
Okay, so we have a little conversation.
Well, we got to discuss all the news and all the events going on.
The only thing missing is our bagels, but you know what? Our professional technical director, manager, quality control guy.
Yeah.
He just went over to the refrigerator there at the Dove Kitchen.
Right.
And he pulled out some frozen bagels.
Oh.
Is that what they are?
Oh.
Okay.
All right.
So don't let that bother you because 8 seconds in the nuke machine.
They're fine.
Like that. A little rubbery, but they're okay. 26 minutes before the hour. Back to some serious stuff. What's happening in Iran? Well, yesterday, Iran put out a poster to go ahead and assassinate the president. The president said yesterday that Iran was stopping the killing of their own citizens for a while. Let's check in with CBN Newswatch and get the latest.
This is CBN Newswatch.
It is Thursday, the 15th of January. I want to begin this half hour with the protests in Iran, with some saying, and now they could be at a pivotal moment, with both sides watching and waiting to see if President Donald Trump is going to intervene. Chris Mitchell has our top story now. He's reporting from Jerusalem.
One day after he encouraged Iranians to keep protesting, President Trump said he's been told the killings have stopped.
We have been informed by very important sources on the other side, and they've said the killing has stopped and the executions won't take place. There was supposed to be a lot of executions today, and that the executions won't take place, and we're going to find out.
Iran's foreign minister told Fox News there are no plans for executions, and there's been no protests for several days. Others tell a different story.
But there are some Iranians who have been able to get a hold of friends or family inside. And what they are saying is that the situation is incredibly dire. The amount of casualties is higher than what's even being reported in the media.
Iranian-born activist Goldy Gamari tells CBN News the protests have come to a breaking point.
So it really is now or never, because what Iranians are saying is that if we do not overthrow the regime, then every single person who has been slaughtered these last few days, it will all have been in vain.
She says the regime is waging war on its people to survive.
It's war. It's war out there. Iranians are unarmed, and the Islamic regime, the Islamic dictatorship, they've now brought in their proxy forces like Hamas and Hezbollah and the Houthis, and all of that was funded by the Islamic Republic. So those same terrorist groups are murdering Iranians as well.
Iranian rapper Miraj Tehrani managed to escape the country. In tears, he described what he saw and pleaded for help.
فقط کمک خارجی جهنمو دیدم تو ایران این چند روز جهنمو دیدم گناه داریم خیلی گناه داریم فقط کمک خارجی چیزا رو غرقم میکنن تو سر سینه شلیک مستقیم بی‌رحمانه دارن میکشن همه رو.
One forensic doctor says the wounds from many of those killed indicate snipers from a high elevation. The internet blackout is now in its 7th day, and some reports indicate the regime may introduce their own domestic internet. Yet some videos like this one on Instagram show crowds shouting death to the dictator. Throughout the region, preparations are underway for a potential confrontation between the U.S. and Iran. Some U.S. personnel have been told to leave the U.S. base in Qatar, and a U.S. carrier strike group is on its way to the Middle East. And here in Israel, the country is preparing for a possible Iranian retaliation if the U.S. attacks. If the regime does fall, Crown Prince Reza Pahlavi, who many see as a transitional leader, said Iran would be a friend to the free world.
In security and foreign policy, Iran's nuclear military program will end. In diplomacy, relations with the United States will be normalized, and our friendship with America and her people will be restored.
In the meantime, the White House announced the launch of Phase 2 of the Gaza peace plan. The plan would establish a temporary technocratic Palestinian administration in Gaza, begin full disarmament of all unauthorized groups, and start reconstruction.
And Chris joins us now with more. So, Chris, do protesters in Iran and their supporters believe this is a turning point in the uprising, that it's now or never? Do they see these protests as the last chance to bring down the regime?
Ephraim, I think they really do. Now or never, do or die, literally. And so many have already given their lives, and they're saying, and they've been saying this almost since the very beginning, is that this is the last battle. And so many protests have failed before. Right now, they have hope. They have hope about President Trump, and they're rallying around one leader, Reza Pahlavi. Iran has been weakened significantly. The proxies have been degraded. There's an economic disaster, water crisis. So there's so many elements that make this protest different than the ones before. And many people feeling, what more can they lose? And as we talked to Goldy Gamari, she was saying people have never been more motivated, and they're not going to stop until they're free. But right now, the question is, and the main question, what will President Trump do? And as we heard this Iranian rapper say, really foreign help is what they need right now.
Okay, so the son of the Shah.
Yes.
Can we trust him to be pro-America?
Yeah, well, you know, it'd be interesting to see where has he been living since the fall of his dad's regime. He sounds very Western. I don't know. I'm going to start looking up, because we haven't seen him at all. All of a sudden, he is like reemerged.
Well, there was movement where the president didn't think, he would be the guy.
Right.
But it looks like the citizens kind of want him.
Yeah, it seems to be, yes.
So is there a compromise in the middle of all this? So we'll see what happens. All right, let's check out the weather from a guy that never compromises anything.
A look at our weather from Grange Co-op. High pressure remains firmly established over the Pacific Northwest, so today in northern Oregon and southern Washington, mostly sunny skies with daytime highs in the mid-50s from Vancouver through Portland, Wilsonville, and McMinnville. Moving down the Willamette Valley, decreasing clouds becoming sunny in low 50s in Salem and Albany. Early patchy dense fog, then sunny and near 52 in Corvallis and 49 in Eugene with lows in the 30s. Sunny skies today over central Oregon with daytime high temperatures in the mid-50s for Prineville and Bend and low 50s in Sun River. Over in Boise, Idaho, patchy fog, then clearing to sunny in upper 30s. Sunny up and down the Oregon coast with daytime highs near 57 in Coos Bay, low 60s for Port Orford and near 64 in Brookings and Crescent City, California, with a light northeast wind. In southern Oregon, air stagnation advisories continue with sunny skies for the Rogue Valley and Klamath Basin, with high temperatures near 44 in Grants Pass, 48 in Medford, 56 in Ashland, and 49 in Klamath Falls. Into northern California, sunny and low to mid-50s around Wairika, sunny in Redding and Chico with highs in the mid-upper 60s. In Sacramento, mostly sunny with a high near 61. Sunny skies today across the Bay Area with daytime high temperatures in the mid-to-upper 60s in Santa Rosa and Napa, near 64 in San Francisco with a light northeast wind, and a high near 71 in San Jose. It's a snapshot of your Thursday weather from Grange Co-op.
Well, you can see an interesting thing. There's a glow, there's some lights, and then there's some fog. And that's kind of the mix of what we got going in the valley here this morning. And that is the south end. So that fog seems to be moving around a little bit. It does break loose about noon. But in the meantime, it's pretty icy. Be careful out there.
Yeah, be careful. Well, it is known as the Miracle on the Hudson, and it was accomplished on this day in history.
Wow.
On January 15th, 2009, what began as a routine flight out of New York became one of aviation's most extraordinary moments, the Miracle on the Hudson. Just 1 minute after takeoff from LaGuardia Airport, U.S. Airways Flight 1549 struck a flock of geese, knocking out both engines. With no power and no runway within reach, Captain Chesley Sully Sullenberger made a split-second decision that would save 155 lives. Calmly telling air traffic control we're going to be in the Hudson, Sully glided the Airbus A320 between Manhattan and New Jersey, touching down on the icy river just 90 seconds later. Passengers climbed onto the wings as nearby ferries rushed in to help. Miraculously, everyone survived. Sully was the last to leave the plane, walking the aisle twice to be sure no one was left behind. The former fighter pilot was hailed as a hero, honored by Congress, and remembered forever for steady hands, clear thinking, and extraordinary courage when it mattered most.
Oh, I remember it well.
Did you see the movie?
I loved the movie,
Yeah, it was well done.
Yeah.
And from what I understand, pretty accurate.
It seemed to be, yeah, from what I hear too, yeah.
But what was cruel, at the very end of the film, had all the passengers come, and they didn't give their name, they gave their seat number.
Oh, yeah.
14E.
Yeah.
7A.
Yeah.
9B.
Yes. And I watched this again, too, and was listening to the audio between Sully and the tower. And the tower kept telling him there's an open runway in Teterboro and telling him all the different open runways where he wanted him to go. And Sully says, we're going to end up in the Hudson. And he quit talking at that point in time. Now, the guy in the tower is still talking to him, trying to give him other runway options and stuff. And now Sully's like, we're done talking. He's putting the plane down in the Hudson.
Well, he knew weight and balance.
Okay.
And he knew airspeed, and he knew the angle of descent. And he also knew that if he didn't keep those things in focus, he would have stalled the airplane. And that would have been the problem. Okay, so anyway, good stuff all the way around.
Yeah.
All right, in his book, Morning and Evening, Charles Spurgeon, I read some of his stuff. He was really an amazing guy. Anyway, talks about the importance of sharing our faith with others.
I have yet to speak on God's behalf. Job 36, verse 2. We should not court publicity for our virtue or notoriety for our zeal, but at the same time, it is a sin to be always seeking to hide that which God has bestowed upon us for the good of others. A Christian is not to be a village in a valley, but a city set up on a hill. He is not to be a candle under a bushel, but a candle in a candlestick, giving light to all. Retirement may be lovely in its season, and to hide oneself is doubtless modest, but the hiding of Christ in us can never be justified. And the keeping back of truth, which is precious to ourselves, is a sin against others and an offense against God. If you are of a nervous temperament and of a retiring disposition, take care that you do not too much indulge this trembling propensity, lest you should be useless to the church. Seek in the name of him who is not ashamed of you to do some little violence to your feelings, and to tell others what Christ has told to you. If you cannot speak with trumpet tongue, use the still small voice. If the pulpit must not be your tribune, if the press may not carry on its wings your words, yet say with Peter and John, silver and gold I have none, but such as I do have, I give to you. By Sychar's well, talk to the Samaritan woman. If you cannot on the mountain preach a sermon, utter the praises of Jesus in the house, if not in the temple. In the field, if not upon the exchange, in the midst of your own household, if you cannot in the midst of the great family of man. From the hidden springs within, let sweetly flowing rivulets of testimony flow forth, giving drink to every passerby. Do not hide your talent, trade with it, and you will bring in good interest to your Lord and Master. To speak for God will be refreshing to ourselves, cheering to saints, useful to sinners, and honoring to the Savior.
Isn't that beautiful? Mm-hmm. I remember some time ago, I met a friend of mine who retired from ministry.
Okay.
And he did it at the age of 66. And I said, why'd you retire? He said, well, it's time for me to retire. I said, I'm 66. And then I asked this question.
Okay.
And I thought he almost was going to fall over.
I know.
I said, did God call you to retire?
Oh, okay.
And it was like I slapped him with a broom in his head.
Oh,
you know.
What was his response?
He was stunned.
Okay.
I don't think he ever processed that. Oh. Culture says retire at a certain age.
Yes.
Callings and giftings are irrevocable.
Oh, yeah.
Now, that doesn't mean you be stupid and you don't become a good steward of things.
Yeah.
The culture is saying you got to quit and play golf.
That's right.
No.
That's right.
No. We'll be right back.
Yeah.
Above him there's no other, 'cause Jesus is the way. Sing along.
30 seconds or less. That's the length of a soundbite in a typical news story. If you're lucky, you can't really learn much in 30 seconds. It takes time to ask questions, learn, and explore the facts to really understand. Focus Today on the Dove TV and Radio does just that. We give you an hour covering several issues and newsmakers in depth. So don't settle for quick soundbites. Get to the heart of a story and understand better. Focus Today, weekdays on the Dove TV and Radio.
Panoramic Moto Tours was born really out of my passion just to ride Gray's back roads and the scenic highways in our beautiful Northwest. God put it on my heart to share the experiences and invite others. More than riding beautiful roads, it's the camaraderie and fellowship. It's hearing each other's stories. It's being mutually encouraged on our journeys of life.
Riders can book one of our ready-to-ride guided tours offering the best of Oregon or Northern California. Or book a private custom tour tailored just for your group to destinations like Glacier or Yellowstone. For more information, go to
panoramicmototours.com or call me, Nick, at 541-622-3844. When you find something you love, you just want to share it.
panoramicmototours.com. Your next adventure starts here.
All right, welcome back. 10 minutes before the hour. I've had Ruthie Bloom on quite a bit. She is one of the recent Jewish News Syndicate podcasts there. She's with the organization. We've had her on live from Jerusalem. She's a very informed gal. She actually worked in the Netanyahu administration for a while.
Oh,
she's quite a gal. And she thinks that President Trump will not back down from helping the people in Iran. Here's what she had to say.
He is not only saying help is on its way and that he canceled all talks with the Iranian, with the regime. And you keep saying, yes, but, he's transactional. And therefore, what he's trying to do is they'll stop the killing and then he wants to negotiate about the nuclear program. But he already believes that he has killed the nuclear program, basically. All right. So there's where I don't think you're right. I don't think he does want to negotiate with them. And he didn't say democracy. He said, make Iran great again. Iran wasn't a democracy under the Shah. It was modernizing. The Shah was modernizing. It was. And the thing is, it wasn't an Islamist, vile Islamist, not just Islamist republic. Most Iranians were Zoroastrian in their background, and they were quite modern, etc. So I believe making those kind of statements means we're on the way. What is we're on the way? It means planes, bombs. I don't know about boots on the ground, but certainly bombs hitting the ground. The main reason, one of the main reasons that President Trump cannot back down is because he does not want to be seen as resembling in any shape or form Obama, who openly abandoned the Iranian people. When Obama was inaugurated in 2009, there were protests in the streets of Iran over the stolen election. And Obama basically said, well, we have to let the Iranians...
You wrote a book about this.
I did. I wrote a book about how Obama basically followed in Jimmy Carter's path and Islamized the whole Middle East, basically. But the point is, at that time, his whole attitude was, no, we want to outreach to the Muslim world. And of course, what he meant by the Muslim world is not the moderate Muslim world. He was outreaching to the Muslim Brotherhood, to all the bad guys. And he said, we have to let the Iranian people make their choices. And Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, then Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, said, we're watching, we're observing what's going on. And of course, the protesters were gunned down. And that was basically, that was the end of that. And there is no way that President Trump is going to allow the New York Times or the Washington Post or anybody else to say, you see, it's like in the end, American foreign policy is like Obama. No way is he going to let that happen.
Whoa.
Well, we'll see what happens because we're within hours of maybe that being fulfilled.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens.
All right. Whew. That was interesting.
Yep.
Okay, well, a man in Texas is showing how one small act and one simple social media post can completely change a life. Take a look at this. David Dominguez travels to farmers markets across the state looking for vendors most people pass by, the ones sitting alone with no customers. When he finds one, he stops, starts a conversation, and shares their story online. His videos follow a simple theme: only buying from vendors with no customers. For Dewana Thompson and her small business, Dewana's Jerky, it was life-changing. After Dominguez featured her booth at a farmer's market in Rosenberg, Texas, Dewana and her husband woke up to non-stop phone alerts, orders pouring in from across the country. At first, they thought something was wrong. Instead, their business had gone viral. Dominguez started the videos in 2025 after being laid off, deciding to use his extra time to do something positive. Now he travels from Austin to Dallas to San Antonio, using his platform to shine a light on small vendors who just need to be seen. Sometimes all it takes is someone noticing. Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah. I mean, he featured them, and then they get up, they hear their alerts going ding, ding, ding. They're like, what is going on?
That's really
And it's
cool.
orders coming in.
That's really cool.
That is amazing.
That is really cool. All right, let's see here. Chris Auer will be with us. Let's see, we'll be talking to him about the recent nationwide Verizon outage. Did you notice that? Did you hear about that?
I heard about that. Are you on Verizon?
No.
Okay.
But it did upset the world.
That's what I hear. We just switched over because Verizon had lost some of its coverage in some of the places that we need phone service, and so we had just flipped over to another carrier, and we missed it all. But I heard about it on the way in. I heard it was something pretty big.
Okay. The other guy we're going to have on is Luis Martinez. He's a political commentator with NTD TV, which is he's a native from Venezuela. And we'll talk to him about just what's going on there, the unfolding of what's happening in Venezuela. So that ought to be kind of interesting. Dr. Gene Getz will be with us. So we got quite a combination of things out there this morning.
How is Dr. Getz?
He's doing really well. I mean, you know, they actually called his family in twice to say goodbye to him.
Yes.
Because of COVID.
Yes.
And here he is, 91, still going strong.
Going strong, yes. I love it.
Yeah, he's just a super guy. I take the scripture with you today, Colossians chapter 3, verses 1 through 3. Since then, you have been raised with Christ. Set your hearts and minds on things above, where Christ is, seated at the right hand of God, and not on earthly things. For you died, and your life is now hidden with Christ in God. That's just kind of like an attitude adjustment. Do you know who you really are in Christ? Have you ever stopped to ask that question? Check it out. All right, we got fog, we got some clear skies, and no bagels.
The truth and the life and the way.
Applegate River Golf and RV Resort, a pristine 9-hole course alongside the Applegate River. Their clubhouse offers a golf simulator experience. The RV Resort is adjacent to the golf course with convenient pull-through parking. Applegate River Golf and RV Resort. Information at applegaterv.com.
A ministry moment on the Dove.
If you are tired, that means I get fed up. I am tired of living the way I'm living. If you're tired from carrying heavy loads, if you're not tired of trying to solve all the problems by yourself, Jesus can't help you. So let me ask you, are you tired? Are you tired of running on empty? Are you fed up with the emptiness that you've been feeling in your life? And are you willing to do something about it? As I said, we don't change until we feel the heat. You have to come some point in your life where you go, I have had enough. I refuse to live this way any longer.
A ministry moment on the Dove.
Experienced Middle East Bureau Chief Chris Mitchell brings you Jerusalem Dateline, weeknights at 9:30 on the Dove TV, encouraging and informative. Good morning. You're tuned to the Dove, encouraging and informative, helping Oregon, Northern California, Idaho, and Nevada start the day with news and encouragement. This is Mornings on the Dove.
Hey, good morning to you. Happy Thursday. Welcome to Mornings on the Dove. This is where people come to thaw out.
Yeah, this is a good place to do it.
Yes, good morning to you. Perry and the other guy is here too.
Good morning.
Yeah. Anyway, good morning to you. A lot going on in the news. There always is. We do have some pockets of ice fog again this morning. It kind of moves around a little bit. Yeah. But unfortunately, on top of all that, we got air stagnation warnings throughout the area. Just not a whole lot going on. And guess what?
What?
It looks like this is around for at least another week.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't see any breaks in all this. So there's a high pressure off the west coast holding the low pressure away, and it seems to be working. So that high pressure ridge, if we can get it broken up, maybe we'll get some weather in here.
You know, it's weird how the air stagnation works as well, because normally, you know, Ashland is a little higher elevation than us. And with the air stagnation in effect, obviously pushing, you know, the cold air down, we see fog here on the valley floor. But as you climb a little bit, Ashland is in the clear and warmer than we are. Yeah, like at least 5 degrees today.
Yeah, much warmer.
Yeah.
By the way, I see some 50-degree, close to 60 out there next week.
Yeah, yeah.
So kind of interesting times. Anyway,
Yeah.
good morning to you. Drive carefully in the meantime. Kind of icy. What do you got?
Well, it's cold, it's chilly, it's foggy, the roads are frosty, they're throwing gravel anywhere, all the places that you might slide going around the corners and stuff. So instead of rushing out to that, sit back, enjoy your coffee, and have a bagel. It is National Bagel Day. This kosher carbohydrate brings complex flavors to the deli and sandwich bar. Polish-American immigrants introduced the bagel to the United States. Throughout New York City and the surrounding boroughs, they grew thriving businesses, and of course, it didn't take long for bakers to organize. In 1907, they created the International Bagel Bakers Union, and for decades, Bagel Bakers Local 338 held contracts with nearly all bagel bakeries for its workers in and around the city. Bagel Bakers Unite.
Is it still there?
I don't know. You know, I worked in a bagel shop when I first went to New York, when I was first getting started. They didn't organize me. I was cutting bagels and putting schmears and locks and everything else on. Nobody came in and asked me for union dues.
Okay.
I wouldn't have given it to them.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had run me out of New York, I guess. But anyway, they are fabulous, and we have bagels here. In fact, all the bagels used to be all handmade. And in fact, we had a great bagel shop here for a while called Ahuva. Remember it? They have closed up. They made handmade bagels.
Yes, they did.
And you can always tell a handmade bagel because they're a little bit irregular.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not the cookie cutter bagels, which we get from other places. But
Well, Costco, you can buy a bag of 2 over there. I like, my favorite one is the cinnamon raisin.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
With a little peanut butter on it.
Okay. Yeah, you got a little protein in your diet. I like it. All right, and then top it off with strawberry ice cream. It's National Strawberry Ice Cream Day, made by blending either strawberries or strawberry flavoring with eggs, cream, vanilla, and sugar. And sometimes they put food coloring in to, give it that pink or little red hue, of course, much to RFK Jr.'s chagrin.
Right.
But you know what is really good is homemade strawberry ice cream, vanilla ice cream and strawberries.
Yes.
Pretty basic. Little sugar, maybe.
Yeah. Take
That's
your
okay.
vanilla and just put some real strawberries in it. And I love that in a milkshake.
Oh.
Vanilla ice cream with strawberries in it and then
Fabulous.
mix it up.
Yeah. And while you're doing it, put your hat on. It's National Chapeau or Hat Day, and the earliest evidence of hats dates back to ancient civilizations such as Egypt, where paintings and artifacts depict people wearing head coverings made from straw, reeds, or even animal skins. Hats were originally designed for practical purposes, providing protection from the sun, rain, wind, and cold weather. But throughout history, hats have been used to signify social status and rank. In many cultures, the type of a hat a person wore indicated their position in society. Hats have held religious significance in many cultures, with certain head coverings worn as part of a religious ritual or ceremonies. And of course, fashion comes into play as well, because hats have evolved dramatically over time, with styles and trends changing to reflect shifts in fashion, technology, and culture. And speaking of technology affecting hat fashions, when will we have smart hats?
Smart hats.
I don't know. I like the Stetson, and we're looking at that right now. That looks cool, man. That'll do it for me.
So you have ball caps
and ball cap, yeah,
cowboy hats.
Yeah.
So do you know why on a safari hat one side's turned up?
I have no idea. Why?
It's usually turned up on the side where you have your gun.
Oh, okay. I never thought of that.
So do you know why cowboy hats, the big ones, they're curved on the side?
Yeah.
They curve up like that?
I don't know.
That's so you get 3 of them in the front seat of a pickup. You ever notice that? All cowboy hats turn up like that?
All the hat facts.
But before they made 2-seater pickups, that's the only way you can get the guys. So you put 3 of them in the pickup, and they had to turn the side of their hats up.
Okay. Enjoy your bagel with your cowboy hat on, turned up, with 3 of you going down the street in your pickup.
There you go. Well, there you go. And here's the guy that wears a flat hat all the time.
From Grange Co-op, high pressure remains firmly established over the Pacific Northwest, so today in northern Oregon and southern Washington, mostly sunny skies with daytime highs in the mid-50s from Vancouver through Portland, Wilsonville, and McMinnville. Moving down the Willamette Valley, decreasing clouds becoming sunny in low 50s in Salem and Albany, early patchy dense fog, then sunny and near 52 in Corvallis and 49 in Eugene with lows in the 30s. Sunny skies today over central Oregon with daytime high temperatures in the mid-50s for Prineville and Bend and low 50s in Sun River. Over in Boise, Idaho, patchy fog, then clearing to sunny in upper 30s. Sunny up and down the Oregon coast with daytime highs near 57 in Coos Bay, low 60s for Port Orford and near 64 in Brookings and Crescent City, California, with a light northeast wind. In southern Oregon, air stagnation advisories continue with sunny skies for the Rogue Valley and Klamath Basin, with high temperatures near 44 in Grants Pass, 48 in Medford, 56 in Ashland, and 49 in Klamath Falls. Into northern California, sunny and low to mid-50s around Wairika, sunny in Redding and Chico with highs in the mid to upper 60s. In Sacramento, mostly sunny with a high near 61. Sunny skies today across the Bay Area with daytime high temperatures in the mid to upper 60s in Santa Rosa and Napa, near 64 in San Francisco with a light northeast wind, and a high near 71 in San Jose. It's a snapshot of your Thursday weather from Grange Co-op.
Well, there's a picture of Mount Ashland this morning, and snow, but you can tell it's a little thin.
Yep, it is.
A little thin up there. So.
And nothing in the forecast, so let's just hope it stays a little cool up there to keep what we got while we got it. All right. Well, you know, there is a lot that divides us in our country these days, but here's Pastor Greg Laurie encouraging us to come together and work and pray together.
And, you know, we're so divided in America. We're even divided in the church. And we're divided over second and third tier issues. And it's time for us to come together and pray together and work together and do something to change what's happening. There's an old country preacher named Vance Havner that once said, if we're too busy using our sickles on each other, we'll miss the harvest. And I think sometimes we're debating all these things when there's a lost world out there. And of course, the late 60s, early 70s was a time of division as well. It's so bad right now that I read that 43% of Americans think we're headed toward a civil war. This is crazy. We need God, and we need another spiritual awakening. When we look at the breakdown in culture, we're quick to point the finger at Hollywood. It's Hollywood's fault. Or it's because of these politicians in Washington, D.C., and they may all play a role in it to some degree. But when God sees the breakdown of a nation, he doesn't point his finger at the White House. He points it at his house. 2 Chronicles 7:14, God says, if my people, which are called by my name, will humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then God says, then I will hear them and I will answer this prayer, and I will forgive their sins and heal their land. You know, we all gravitate toward the heal the land part. Yes, Lord, heal our land. God says, my people. That means you. That means me. That means us. Oh, they're all so evil. Look at the horrible things we're all doing. Yeah, maybe it's true. What about you? Do you need to humble yourself and seek his face?
Well, the scripture also says that judgment starts in the house of the Lord. You know, I've always said if your ministry doesn't work at home, don't export it.
Yeah.
You know, if it doesn't work in your own backyard, who's going to believe you? Good stuff all the way around. All right, 10 minutes past the hour. Let's take a look at the top stories. And this is kind of interesting. We all know that all eyes internationally are on Iran, what's going on over there. They were killing a lot of their citizens in the protests. And you'll hear a little bit later on CBN News that they figured that the people of Iran now feel this is their moment. Live or die.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what they're facing. Either they win this or they're going to die.
Yeah.
And they have been, the regime over there has been killing a lot of people. Then yesterday, the president said it stopped. For how long?
Yeah.
Apparently it's resumed. In the meantime, Iran issued a direct assassination threat against the President of the United States, airing a chilling image on state television showing Trump during the 2024 rally shooting there at Butler, Pennsylvania, with a warning sign, "This time we will not miss the target." So he's cut off all negotiations. Diplomacy isn't going to work. The question is, what happens now?
Yeah.
And you know that as we talk and sleep, the strategists are going 24/7 trying to figure out the plan.
Yes, indeed. Yeah. And what I hear coming out is that the president really wants them to plan something that is very decisive in its initial strike that would incapacitate their ability to throw up a defense. He doesn't want anything that would get us wrapped up in there for weeks or months.
So they got to know where everybody is, and they got to know where everything is.
Yes.
So they're relying on intelligence right now.
Yep.
You got to take out all the missile sites.
Sure.
And then where is the regime hiding? All right. The other story is the president has showed great interest of turning Greenland into State 51. He moved from Canada just across the bay a little bit and went over to Greenland.
Yeah.
Anyway, this is serious stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway, the Danes, the Danish officials got together and they were meeting with members of the White House team, primarily Vice President J.D. Vance and Secretary of State Marco Rubio, meeting with the people from Denmark as to what the future may be concerning Greenland. Now, Greenland, big landmass, only 60,000 people. The Danes supposedly control it. The question is, what has Denmark done for Greenland lately? Not a whole lot, but there are some agreements there. So here's what the Danish officials said as a result of their first round of meetings. Listen carefully to this because it's kind of interesting.
We, the Kingdom of Denmark, continue to believe that also the long-term security of Greenland can be ensured inside the current framework, the 1951 agreement on the defense of Greenland, as well as the NATO treaty. For us, ideas that would not respect territorial integrity of the Kingdom of Denmark and the right of self-determination of the Greenlandic people are, of course, totally unacceptable. And we therefore still have a fundamental disagreement, but we also agree to disagree. And therefore we will, however, continue to talk. We have decided to form a high-level working group to explore if we can find a common way forward. There's clearly a disagreement. We agreed that it makes sense to try to sit down on a high level to explore whether there is possibilities to accommodate the concerns of the President, while we at the same time respect the red lines of the Kingdom of Denmark. So this is the work we will start.
All right, so what you're hearing here is the red line doesn't seem to be a red line because they want to continue to talk.
Yeah.
So is Denmark, this is a question, it's hypothetical, is Denmark holding out because they're now in a deal, they know it's inevitable? So is this a way for not only the Greenlanders to get some money, but maybe the country of Denmark to be paid off?
Well, sure, yeah, because, you're not going to take it for nothing.
Yeah.
Right.
So, or do you settle for a military base in Greenland?
Well, that's an option, I would think.
I would say that's minimum.
I would think so, yeah. In
At the end of this day, we got to have a military presence in Greenland.
Are you surprised we don't already?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because we are allies.
Right, and they're not that far away.
Okay.
Right.
All right. James Comer, who is the chairman of the U.S. House Oversight Committee, as you remember, he's doing a lot of investigations. And of course, the Jeffrey Epstein case has come up, which is so messy.
Mm-hmm.
But he subpoenaed former President Clinton and his wife, Secretary of State, former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, to come and testify. That's all it was. Come and testify. In the meantime, former President Clinton has said, why don't we just put all this out on the table? Let's just go complete transparency and put the entire Epstein case out there for everybody to see.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Go, Bill.
We're all for that.
Right.
Bubba.
So come in and talk about it.
Yeah. So they declined. And now it's possible that contempt of Congress charges are going to come up first against Hillary Clinton.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if they can do it to a former president.
I don't know. Yeah.
Does he have lifetime immunity?
I have no idea. Yeah.
Well, anyway, interesting case, don't you think?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so as the stomach turns.
Yeah. Remember the chants at the early Donald Trump rallies when they were talking about Hillary and they all start chanting, lock her up, lock her up. Do you think that might happen?
Well,
yeah, I know.
I don't
know.
I don't know what you do with it. I mean,
yeah.
You see what we got, where we are today in America?
Mm-hmm.
Our laws are being tested.
Yeah.
Our policies are being tested.
Yes.
And the moment you make an exception, no matter who it is, then it's ruled invalid.
Right. Right.
And so if she's brought up on contempt of Congress charges and nothing's done about it,
mm-hmm.
then what good is the contempt charges?
Right, right. And, you know, she is kind of a reflection of some of the things that were going on the streets these days.
Mm-hmm.
People are in disagreement of certain laws and rules, and they say, okay, well, those we're not going to honor, so we're going to go out and protest, and we're even going to endanger not the federal authorities who are in charge of this because we don't agree with these. Well, is Hillary Clinton saying, well, you know, this one I don't agree with, so I'm not coming in, I'm not talking, you're not going to get anything out of me. You're right. Laws are being tested.
Yeah.
They really are.
Okay, well, we're going to test our bagel inventory over there in the Dove kitchen.
Yeah.
The only thing I can say about the ones that are there,
what?
They just came out of the freezer.
Okay, well, do we have a toaster?
And we have a nuker.
Well, do we have a toaster?
Over there.
Oh, okay. Well, that's too.
Toasting would be better.
Yeah.
Nuking makes them real.
Then I could use it on my car.
Yeah, you could take those and probably wash your car with it. Over it.
Oh no!
Since 1934, Grange Co-op has been more than just a store. We've been a cornerstone of our community, owned by people like you. We proudly offer top-quality farm and ranch supplies, including our own Rogue feed, as well as workwear, Western apparel, garden essentials, and pet care products. By signing up as a Grange Rewards customer, you not only enjoy exclusive benefits like special offers and 1% back on most purchases, but you also become part of something bigger, a cooperative that you own and help shape. Join Grange Rewards today.
Come fall in love with Northridge Senior Living, where contemporary, sunlit interiors meet old-world elegance. Walk through our lovely hallways and enjoy the fun staff-led activities. Forge lasting friendships with other residents and our exceptional caregivers. Dine in style. Gather near the fireplace under breathtaking chandeliers. Our reasonably priced apartments are spacious with private balconies. Northridge is Christian-owned and operated, pet-friendly, and only 2 blocks from Asante Rogue Regional Medical Center. On-site, in-home care is available. We also offer senior adult daycare, where your loved one can spend the day with us and the evenings with you. Northridge Senior Living. Your home.
You feel most alive where you feel most at home. And this is living. Bobcat, the company that changed the way the world works. is coming home with a quality compact tractor built to match your quality of life. This isn't work you have to do. It's work you get to do. So get it done in a tractor that's all you. See your dealer or visit bobcat.com.
How y'all doing out there? 20 minutes past the hour. A couple things here kind of interesting. I'll kind of zip through here. Our industry, the broadcast industry, goes through a lot of things. And the only reason I bring this story up, in the long run, this could impact you greatly. But the FCC's always had a cap on the amount of television stations that people could own. And that cap basically said that you could only reach about 39% of the U.S. households.
Okay.
And that was back in the broadcast days. Well, we've added to that cable coverage, and we've added to that satellite coverage. So there's a move now with the FCC to lift that cap, which means more companies could buy more stations. And they're saying that this is a good thing for local television, and I just totally disagree with that. And just imagine this, that if ABC, CBS, NBC, CNN, and Nexstar, which is a very liberally owned group of stations, all were able to buy more stations, they could effectively cover 100% of the households in America with their biases.
Wow, yes.
And so just be aware of this. I belong to a couple organizations, and we have voiced our disagreement with this. We've seen the impact of this in our own market here, where two stations were taken over by large corporations and their local influence diminished. Their product has been changed significantly. And this is the trend. I get it. Being a business is hard. Consolidating efforts is a lot of that's going on, especially on the radio side. But if you lift this cap, then you have a group of ideologies coming together that can control the influence. It would be devastating to the conservative influence in our culture through media, in my opinion. That's my opinion. And I hope it fails. But right now, the door is open. And here's what Chairman Carr had to say about it.
Our primary goal is to promote investment in local broadcasters who provide trusted news and information vital to the communities they serve.
Does that make sense?
In my opinion, that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
And so, anyway, it's an argument within our industry. We'll see where it goes. I pray this fails. I do know some large organizations, the NRB, others, and other groups, and us independent guys and everybody else, we're yelling and screaming, don't do this.
Yeah.
So we'll see where it goes. Hopefully, some people in Congress, there is debate. Here's the debate.
Okay.
Can the chairman arbitrarily do this on his own, or do he have to get congressional approval? And that's another argument.
Are you surprised this is coming from the conservative side of our political spectrum rather than you would expect somebody, this to be Democrats who are doing this?
Well, look, this, like I said earlier, can you imagine all the liberal legacy news media consolidating their efforts and going from 39%? By the way, this is a little bit hypocritical.
Okay.
Because they all have satellite channels.
Yeah, right.
They're already covering the country.
Right. Yes. I don't get it.
I don't know.
This is weird.
All right, here's a little backyard news. Our governor, she's going to pull the $4.3 billion bill. They go into special session next month, our legislature, and it's expected that she'll probably pull it there. She didn't want that ballot measure to be on the same ballot that her name was on. Besides, it was a complete bulldoggle. The only thing I can say is the Senator Starr and the Republicans and everybody, thank God, you guys had a huge win. Even if she pulls it, it's a win.
Yeah.
And so, in the meantime, she's trying to shift her re-election efforts to pro-business. Now, you got to remember, the reason businesses are leaving the state is because of her policies. And now she's going to form a committee and create a smoke screen that somehow she's for business. I can't believe for a moment this legislature understands business in order to be for it.
Right.
But she has reached out and brought into the fold to head up this committee and everything former Senator Tim Knopp. Now, I know Tim. Tim is a Republican from Bend. I helped Tim years ago when I was chairman to get elected. And he had a long career in the state Senate and Assembly. He was the one, however, that led the walkout of the Republicans that got caught in the trap that if you stayed out too long, you couldn't run for re-election.
So he wasn't able to run.
He wasn't able to run for re-election. So she's reached out and bringing him in to work on this committee, so-called pro-business committee, and pay him $191,000 a year to do it. Now, folks, I want to just say this nicely because I don't need to create any riots or anything.
Okay.
If we don't get business friendly in Oregon, they're not going to leave. They are leaving.
Right.
I met with the bank president. We had a long lunch talking about Oregon's business climate, and it is not friendly.
Right.
And she thinks now she's going to be the victim, villain, savior of the mess that she's created. This will go down as bad as the tax bill she did. The tax bill is an indication of who she is.
Yeah, that's a good point. And will she get up and explain why she wants to pull that? Or is she just going to do it?
She's just going to do it. And she wants to borrow money maybe from the medical, one of the medical agencies. Was there enough money within the budget in ODOT where they could squeeze a few things around and move the dollars around and fix their own problem? These are liberals that have never made a payroll. They don't understand what business is about. And their answer to everything is tax people more.
Right. Yes.
And the only thing I can say is Republicans have a huge crack in the concrete, and hopefully we can take advantage of it.
Yeah, I think so.
All right, let's take a look at Wall Street here this morning. Let's see what's going on. Wall Street hasn't been too happy about a couple of things. I think the unrest in Minneapolis, the problems in Iran, and then the president going after the chairman of the Feds.
So look at this.
So today it turned around, 213 up.
Whoa.
NAS is up 177, and the S&P up 36. Still big numbers, but it's very emotional. Gold is at 46.11, still good. Look at silver, $90. By the way, I had lunch with somebody yesterday about silver. I'll come back to that. And in the meantime, crude oil's down, not much, but down a little bit, $62.48. You remember when silver was like at $10?
Yeah, it wasn't that long ago.
And now it's at $90?
Yeah, it wasn't that long ago. It was like $23 last year.
So they expect it to go above 100.
Yeah,
okay.
Right.
Because silver is one of those minerals that we need a lot of in today's high-tech stuff that we're doing. Okay. Yeah. And so silver's on the rise, but people out buying ounces of silver years ago, you may want to go look in your little shoebox today because it's worth a lot of money.
I have a cousin who started buying silver, the bricks. Years ago.
Really?
He's like filled up his basement with them.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, gosh. I mean, he's been doing this for like 20 years.
Really?
Oh, my.
Well, now here's the question is, you used to be able to buy these minerals without receipts and stuff. You can buy and exchange and everything else.
Yes.
The question I have now is, you go to sell it, do you pay capital gains on it? And how do you prove what you bought it for and what you sell it for if at the time you bought it you don't have a receipt?
These are really good questions.
They are.
Yes.
So if you take your silver down to somebody that's going to buy all your silver and you're going to get a check for $200,000, that's income.
Yes, it is.
Do you pay normal income tax on it, or can they get you for capital gains? And I don't know that. I don't know the answer to that. Some of you smart guys out there are yelling at me right now. But
yeah, well, I'm at a loss. Well, okay. Well, looking at the unrest on the streets, we see the Portland police chief admitting that the Venezuelans who were shot, and he did it with tears in his eyes, were actually gang members. And they were interfering. And there was another shooting, an altercation in Portland overnight where another more illegals and with assault records were being stopped, and they turned on the enforcement officials with a shovel and started beating them with a shovel, and another shooting ensued. So again, we kind of look at the response of the local police department, which is taking their cue from the city management, obviously. Well, in Chicago, another blue city, the chief of police, his name is Larry Snelling, is being praised nationwide for the moment he stood with ICE instead of the left. Listen to this.
Let me make this clear. Federal agents, ICE, HSI, are officers. They are agents of law enforcement. If you box them in with vehicles, it is reasonable for them to believe that they are being ambushed and that this could end in a deadly situation. And it's reasonable for them to use force based on those conditions. Do not box in any law enforcement officer. You are breaking the law when you do that. And you are putting yourself in danger. Following law enforcement agents around. The question is why? What do you plan on doing? It's also reasonable for them to believe that you're eventually going to do harm to them. If you ram any vehicle, especially that one that contains law enforcement agents, and that's any law enforcement, local, state, federal, county, and you do this intentionally, this is considered deadly force. Deadly force is anything that can cause great bodily harm or death. When you plow into a vehicle that contains law enforcement agents, you're using deadly force. And they can use deadly force in response to stop you. We need to be clear about these laws. We cannot become a society where we just decide to take everything in our own hands and start to commit crimes against law enforcement. It is a crime. You may not like what they're doing. I can understand that there's a lot of emotions out there, but that does not mean that you get to commit a crime, especially one that could lead to deadly force. We need to keep everyone safe. Our responsibilities when it comes to federal agents, and I've been asked these questions, we do not interfere with the duties and responsibilities of federal agents.
Yes. How about that?
Well, look, this is the Chicago police chief. Under a mayor that believes just the opposite, and a governor that believes just the opposite.
Exactly, yeah.
He has so succinctly given the protocol. And that's the end of the day. I mean, are we going to uphold laws or break laws? The moment that you give an exception to the law, you just broke it, or you just nullified it.
Right, and we see that going on up in Portland, and I think one of the things we got to keep an eye on, watch the exodus that happens out of the police department in Portland. You watch.
Yeah, they were asked to stand down.
Yes. And
so was the Minneapolis police the other day. They were asked to stand down. So sooner or later, when you have a police chief like this, I don't know. Now you got to. So in some ways, the left gets another A+ here because they're creating division within the departments.
That's true.
And that's part of their goal here. But at the end of the day, we're either we're either a nation of laws or we're not.
Right.
All right, so much for all that, because that's what Jerry said.
Okay.
We'll be right back.
He's got the whole world in his hands, and he knows the plans for us. Above and beyond we could ask or imagine, his grace is more than enough. It's in his hands, it's in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. Come on, Steve.
A ministry moment on the Dove.
We're talking here about the procedure of faith. After Elijah had done what God already told him to do, then the word of the Lord came to him. And that is the way the procedure of faith always works. It's the procedure of step-by-step obedience before the Lord. We obey one command, and then he gives us another. We take one step, and then he leads us to the next step. And that's very uncomfortable for me and for all of you too. Can I get a witness? We want to know the whole story. We want to see where it ends up. We want to know what problems we're going to face between A and Z. But God doesn't work that way. He leads us one step at a time.
A ministry moment on the Dove.
Buying or selling a home can be stressful. It's one of the biggest decisions you'll make in your lifetime. That's why it's important to work with someone you trust, someone who has the right experience and knowledge of the market.
Hi, we're Patrick and Paulina Leiser with Leiser Real Estate Group.
And whether you're looking to buy or sell a home, our mission is to take the stress out of the transaction and make it as seamless and rewarding as possible.
Contact us today. We look forward to working with you.
Okay, welcome back. Well, Iran very much in the news these days, and with the president now having basically a Mullah's, what do they call it, a Mullah's bounty on his head.
Yeah.
Wow. What's next? What's going to happen? Yeah. And has the killing resumed? I don't know. Let's check in with CBN Newswatch and find out.
This is CBN Newswatch.
It is Thursday, the 15th of January. I want to begin this half hour with the protests in Iran, with some saying, and now they could be at a pivotal moment, with both sides watching and waiting to see if President Donald Trump is going to intervene. Chris Mitchell has our top story now. He's reporting from Jerusalem.
One day after he encouraged Iranians to keep protesting, President Trump said he's been told the killings have stopped.
We have been informed by very important sources on the other side, and they've said the killing has stopped and the executions won't take place. There was supposed to be a lot of executions today, and that the executions won't take place, and we're going to find out.
Iran's foreign minister told Fox News there are no plans for executions, and there's been no protests for several days. Others tell a different story.
But there are some Iranians who have been able to get a hold of friends or family inside. And what they are saying is that the situation is incredibly dire. The amount of casualties is higher than what's even being reported in the media.
Iranian-born activist Goli Gamari tells CBN News the protests have come to a breaking point.
So it really is now or never, because what Iranians are saying is that if we do not overthrow the regime, then every single person who has been slaughtered these last few days, it will all have been in vain.
She says the regime is waging war on its people to survive.
It's war. It's war out there. Iranians are unarmed, and the Islamic regime, the Islamic dictatorship, they've now brought in their proxy forces like Hamas and Hezbollah and the Houthis, and all of that was funded by the Islamic Republic. So those same terrorist groups are murdering Iranians as well.
Iranian rapper Miraj Tehrani managed to escape the country. In tears, he described what he saw and pleaded for help.
تو ایران این چند روز جهنمو دیدم. گناه داریم، خیلی گناه داریم. فقط کمک خارجی چیزا رو غرق میکنن تو سر سینه. شلیک مستقیم بی‌رحمانه دارن میکشن همه رو.
One forensic doctor says the wounds from many of those killed indicate snipers from a high elevation. The internet blackout is now in its 7th day, and some reports indicate the regime may introduce their own domestic internet. Yet some videos like this one on Instagram show crowds shouting death to the dictator. Throughout the region, preparations are underway for a potential confrontation between the U.S. and Iran. Some U.S. personnel have been told to leave the U.S. base in Qatar, and a U.S. carrier strike group is on its way to the Middle East. And here in Israel, the country is preparing for a possible Iranian retaliation if the U.S. attacks. If the regime does fall, Crown Prince Reza Pahlavi, who many see as a transitional leader, said Iran would be a friend to the free world.
In security and foreign policy, Iran's nuclear military program will end. In diplomacy, relations with the United States will be normalized, and our friendship with America and her people will be restored.
In the meantime, the White House announced the launch of Phase 2 of the Gaza peace plan. The plan would establish a temporary technocratic Palestinian administration in Gaza, begin full disarmament of all unauthorized groups, and start reconstruction.
And Chris joins us now with more. So, Chris, do protesters in Iran and their supporters believe this is a turning point in the uprising, that it's now or never? Do they see these protests as the last chance to bring down the regime?
Ephraim, I think they really do. Now or never, do or die, literally. And so many have already given their lives, and they're saying, and they've been saying this almost since the very beginning, is that this is the last battle. And so many protests have failed before. Right now, they have hope. They have hope about President Trump, and they're rallying around one leader, Reza Pahlavi. Iran has been weakened significantly. The proxies have been degraded. There's an economic disaster, water crisis. So there's so many elements that make this protest different than the ones before. And many people feeling, what more can they lose? And as we talked to Goldie Gamari, she was saying people have never been more motivated, and they're not going to stop until they're free. But right now the question is, and the main question, what will President Trump do? And as we heard this Iranian rapper say, really foreign help is what they need right now.
Interesting. So the Shah basically is saying, if he comes back to power, he wants to normalize relationship with the United States and denuke the country from, I guess, military-type nukes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So can we trust him?
I think so.
He's the one that the people seem to want.
Right. And his father
The president's not too hot on it yet.
Right. And his father was very friendly with the United States. They were very westernized.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I have a feeling. And it's interesting, too, because he seems to have come out of nowhere. I wasn't even aware that he...
Been hiding?
Yeah. But we'll see.
Yeah, it's interesting that the current regime hasn't taken him out, and I say that respectfully.
That's a great
So has he
point.
been hiding somewhere?
Yeah.
This is going to be interesting to watch, because if Iran falls, and it looks like it's heading in that direction, and we know that Starlink is in there, but if you totally open up the country to the outside world via the internet, that culture will change just like that.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
You know, pretty interesting stuff. Here's a guy that never changes.
A look at our weather from Grange Co-op. High pressure remains firmly established over the Pacific Northwest, so today in northern Oregon and southern Washington, mostly sunny skies with daytime highs in the mid-50s from Vancouver through Portland, Wilsonville, and McMinnville. Moving down the Willamette Valley, decreasing clouds becoming sunny in low 50s in Salem and Albany, early patchy dense fog, then sunny in near 52 in Corvallis and 49 in Eugene with lows in the 30s. Sunny skies today over central Oregon with daytime high temperatures in the mid-50s for Prineville and Bend and low 50s in Sun River. Over in Boise, Idaho, patchy fog, then clearing to sunny in upper 30s. Sunny up and down the Oregon coast with daytime highs near 57 in Coos Bay, low 60s for Port Orford and near 64 in Brookings and Crescent City, California, with a light northeast wind. In southern Oregon, air stagnation advisories continue with sunny skies for the Rogue Valley and Klamath Basin, with high temperatures near 44 in Grants Pass, 48 in Medford, 56 in Ashland, and 49 in Klamath Falls. Into northern California, sunny and low to mid-50s around Wairika, sunny in Redding and Chico with highs in the mid to upper 60s. In Sacramento, mostly sunny with a high near 61. Sunny skies today across the Bay Area with daytime high temperatures in the mid to upper 60s in Santa Rosa and Napa, near 64 in San Francisco with a light northeast wind, and a high near 71 in San Jose. It's a snapshot of your Thursday weather from Grange Co-op.
Snapshot of our beautiful mountain called Mount Ashland. Sun kind of gleaming there.
Unfortunately, the sun has been gleaming there because the little brown patches are growing. They're growing. Yeah, unfortunately.
We'll see what happens. Right.
Yep, we'll keep an eye on it. Well, it's known as the Miracle on the Hudson, and it was accomplished on this day in history. On January 15th, 2009, what began as a routine flight out of New York became one of aviation's most extraordinary moments, the Miracle on the Hudson.
Just 1 minute after takeoff from LaGuardia Airport, U.S. Airways Flight 1549 struck a flock of geese, knocking out both engines. With no power and no runway within reach, Captain Chesley Sully Sullenberger made a split-second decision that would save 155 lives. Calmly telling air traffic control, "We're going to be in the Hudson," Sully glided the Airbus A320 between Manhattan and New Jersey, touching down on the icy river just 90 seconds later. Passengers climbed onto the wings as nearby ferries rushed in to help. Miraculously, everyone survived. Sully was the last to leave the plane, walking the aisle twice to be sure no one was left behind. The former fighter pilot was hailed as a hero, honored by Congress, and remembered forever for steady hands, clear thinking, and extraordinary courage when it mattered most.
Yeah.
The movie was fantastic.
Yeah, starring Tom Hanks. That was a great film. And you know, it's interesting, too, because he kind of fought back when they said that they crashed in the Hudson. He said, "We did not crash. I landed in the Hudson."
You know what's so interesting about that? Now, I look at that little bit of it with the pilot. He didn't put the gear down.
Right, yeah.
And which in my view was a brilliant move, because I've often wondered why under emergencies they put the gear down.
Yeah.
Okay, now maybe for landing on whatever.
Right.
But he didn't put the gear down, and he brought that plane in for a perfect belly landing on the water.
Yeah.
It was pretty amazing.
Yep.
Good stuff all the way around.
Absolutely.
All right, the morning and the evening. Charles Spurgeon, one of the great theologians of the past, and quite a guy. He talks about the importance of you and I sharing our faith.
I have yet to speak on God's behalf. Job 36, verse 2. We should not court publicity for our virtue or notoriety for our zeal, but at the same time, it is a sin to be always seeking to hide that which God has bestowed upon us for the good of others. A Christian is not to be a village in a valley, but a city set up on a hill. He is not to be a candle under a bushel, but a candle in a candlestick, giving light to all. Retirement may be lovely in its season, and to hide oneself is doubtless modest, but the hiding of Christ in us can never be justified. And the keeping back of truth, which is precious to ourselves, is a sin against others and an offense against God. If you are of a nervous temperament and of a retiring disposition, take care that you do not too much indulge this trembling propensity, lest you should be useless to the church. Seek in the name of him who is not ashamed of you to do some little violence to your feelings, and to tell others what Christ has told to you. If you cannot speak with trumpet tongue, use the still small voice. If the pulpit must not be your tribune, if the press may not carry on its wings your words, yet say with Peter and John, "Silver and gold I have none, but such as I do have, I give to you." By Sychar's well, talk to the Samaritan woman. If you cannot on the mountain preach a sermon, utter the praises of Jesus in the house, if not in the temple. In the field, if not upon the exchange, in the midst of your own household, if you cannot in the midst of the great family of man. From the hidden springs within, let sweetly flowing rivulets of testimony flow forth, giving drink to every passerby. Do not hide your talent, trade with it, and you will bring in good interest to your Lord and Master. To speak for God will be refreshing to ourselves, cheering to saints, useful to sinners, and honoring to the Savior.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Very good stuff. All right, we'll take a quick break and come back and talk to Jerry Bilden.
Okay.
Quite a few years ago, I had to make the decision, were we going to be all Christian music or are we going to go into more of a program format? And I decided to go the program format because Christian music was still trying to find its way. It has a lot of variations to it. It's very encouraging. It's a big business. But we've decided to stay more in a format that fit and complemented the news side of what we were doing.
Panoramic Moto Tours was born really out of my passion just to ride, graze back roads and the scenic highways in our beautiful Northwest. God put it on my heart to share the experiences and invite others. More than riding beautiful roads, it's the camaraderie and fellowship. It's hearing each other's stories. It's being mutually encouraged on our journeys of life.
Riders can book one of our ready-to-ride guided tours offering the best of Oregon or Northern California. Or book a private custom tour tailored just for your group to destinations like Glacier or Yellowstone. For more information, go to
panoramicmototours.com or call me, Nick, at 541-622-3844. When you find something you love, you just want to share it.
panoramicmototours.com. Your next adventure starts here.
Okay, good morning. 10 minutes before the hour. Of course, Iran very much in the news. Will the United States get involved? And Ruthie Bloom was with the Jewish News Syndicate. I've had her on. She was actually at one time working inside the Knesset with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Anyway, she made an interesting observation, and I think we see this a lot. The president's determination to finish the job either in Gaza or with Iran has a lot to do with those who are around him trying to influence his decision. Yeah. And she says if nothing is done, it's because the people around him have convinced him not to do something. Oh. Here's what she had to say.
When asked about all this, well, he said, of course they want to negotiate. We destroyed their nukes, and now they're on their knees. So it's not as though he's under any illusions, oh, now let's get the best deal we can. What he thinks is, why I need a deal with them? They have to come begging for their lives from me. Okay, we won, they lost. That's basically his attitude.
He said we want to win.
You are right
yeah.
that in Washington, there is pressure on Trump from his vice president, J.D. Vance, and J.D. Vance's, followers and friends. And one of his close friends is Tucker Carlson, unfortunately. They are pressuring Trump not to take military action. And they're using all those, as I said in the beginning, let's not, it's going to be like with Iraq and the neocons, all of that. They are pressuring him to be more isolationist. Let's not get involved and this, and we'll get bogged down, all those, that expression, bogged down. And so far, Trump is not listening to them so far. And I really hope he doesn't. Because when J.D. Vance, a few days earlier, was asked about his position on anti-Semitism in the party or elsewhere, his response was one of those, it was like the leftist. He said, all forms of hate are bad. There's no place for all forms of hate. It's a way of not talking about anti-Semitism. And since his close buddy is Tucker Carlson, and Tucker Carlson's son works for J.D. Vance, as in his spokesman's department, he's been winking to those bad elements in the Republican Party, or they're not even in the party so much as they are outside supporters of it. So it remains to be seen what will happen with that. But one thing I will say is that by our next podcast, who knows what amazing things will have happened by then. I am certain that something is going down this week.
Okay, and the question is, for me, it's not whether Trump will do something in Iran, it's when.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll see.
I think
what's changed the scenario is that they put a bounty on his head.
Yeah. Yes.
So that changes everything.
Right, I think so too. Yeah. What were they thinking?
Well, they don't.
Is that yeah.
Look, a lot of people don't like Trump because of his personality and all that. And I get all that. Bottom line is we've never had such a consequential guy, and we've never had a guy really stand up and defend America like this.
Right.
And so, yeah, you can hate his guts, and a lot of people do, but the point is, if somebody's put out an edict to kill you, what are you going to do? Run and hide?
Right. Well, even Bill Clinton responded when they put a hit out on ex-President Bush.
Yeah.
So, yeah, this is interesting ground we're in right now. All right. On another tack here.
Oh, this is better.
Yeah, much better. A man in Texas is showing how one small act and one simple social media post can completely change a life. David Dominguez travels to farmers markets across the state looking for vendors most people pass by, the ones sitting alone with no customers. When he finds one, he stops, starts a conversation, and shares their story online. His videos follow a simple theme: only buying from vendors with no customers. For Dewana Thompson and her small business, Dewana's Jerky, it was life-changing. After Dominguez featured her booth at a farmer's market in Rosenberg, Texas, Dewana and her husband woke up to non-stop phone alerts, orders pouring in from across the country. At first, they thought something was wrong. Instead, their business had gone viral. Dominguez started the videos in 2025 after being laid off, deciding to use his extra time to do something positive. Now he travels from Austin to Dallas to San Antonio, using his platform to shine a light on small vendors who just need to be seen. Sometimes all it takes is someone noticing.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
What a call.
Okay, so when you start having a garage sale, why don't you invite him up?
That's right.
I take with you Colossians chapter 3, verses 1 through 3. Since then you have been raised with Christ, set your hearts and minds on things above, where Christ is, seated at the right hand of God, and not on earthly things. For you died, and your life is now hidden with Christ in God. But that's just kind of an attitude adjustment for you today. Understand who you are and the position that you're in and who's on your side.
Yeah.
Don't worry about who's not on your side. Enjoy the one who is on your side.
Amen.
All right, stick around. We got some great guests coming up, and looking for the bagels.
Lord, it's now. Lord, it's now.
They're fun-loving twins. They love God, hunting, and pranking each other. Join the Hamptons for outdoor adventure every weekend on Twin Factor. Brought to you by Black Flag Armory in Medford and Grants Pass. Truly excellent service.
A ministry moment on theDove.
Now here's this couple who says, we don't need that kind of a covenant so that we can escape and get out of this. And it is an unholy relationship. Two men together cannot be one flesh. Two women together in a sexual relationship cannot be one flesh. It is the man and it is the woman brought together by God, as indicated here in this passage of Scripture, that become one flesh. And that means that their relationship is not just physical, but metaphysical. In fact, you know that the word one that is used there is the word when God speaks about being one, for the oneness of the Trinity.
A ministry moment on theDove.
I'm Susanna, and I contracted KA Designs to do custom cabinets throughout my house. We chose a really beautiful maple wood that really creates like a nice airy space. Everything was custom, and it was really cool because I got to literally see it come to life in person. We love to entertain and we have a large family, so everything came together perfectly, exactly what I wanted. I highly suggest KA Designs if you're looking to design your dream house. Go check them out in their showroom. You will not be disappointed.
The Lennox iComfort S30 thermostat can sense changes in your environment. It even knows when you come and go. So now your home's most important system is also the smartest.
Metal Masters can give you the smartest home comfort system available. It knows when you're away and adjusts when allergens and humidity get uncomfortable. Trust Metal Masters to provide perfect air for your family.
Lennox. Air is life. Make it perfect.
You're watching theDove TV, encouraging and informative for San Francisco and the Bay Area. Seen on KURK3 and these Dove TV affiliates.
Welcome to Focus Today. I'm your host, Perry Atkinson, and a lot going on in the news. Of course, Venezuela very much continues to be in the news. What's going on now with Venezuela? Well, it's quite a mystery in so many ways, and yet a lot of changes going on. So honored to have with us today Luis Martinez is a political commentator with the NTD TV, specializing in Latin American global or geopolitics, authoritarian regimes, and democratic transitions. He was born and raised in Venezuela and brings firsthand insight into the political crisis there, as well as Cuba's regional influence and the forces shaping the country and certainly its future. It does have a website, and that is ntd.com, and there's a picture of the landing page, ntd.com. Louis, good to see you. How are you?
Thank you, Perry, for having me.
Thank you.
Good day that we're going to see the opposition leader, the Venezuelan opposition leader, meet with Trump later today.
Wow. Okay. Good stuff. Where are you? Where are we talking to you from?
Right now, I'm a block away from Capitol Hill in Washington, D.C.
Okay.
And now that I mention it, the Venezuelan opposition leader will also meet with senators later today at 3 p.m. And yeah, we're in the studios of NTD News. We cover everything coming off Washington, D.C. on a daily basis, and you can find it right there in the website that you just put up on the screen.
Okay, good stuff. Thanks for your time. We value it greatly. So what's happening in Venezuela now with the leadership change? What's your 30,000-foot view?
Well, sadly for the Venezuelan people right now back home, not much has changed with the removal of Nicolás Maduro as of how the regime handles itself. But they do have the hope that with the aid of the Trump administration, a transition will happen in the near future. So Nicolás Maduro was the illegitimate president who stole the elections back in 2024. He also stole them back in 2015. He was removed through Operation Absolute Resolve on January 3rd. And in his place came in Delcy Rodriguez, the vice president of the regime. Now, Delcy Rodriguez quite evidently had been already negotiating with the Trump administration. There were reports as early as of September of last year that Delcy had offered herself to be a transition figure if Maduro was ousted. And of course, this negotiations would likely allow her to leave power unscathed when the transition is over. So she's right now the leader of the Venezuelan regime. Her brother, Jorge Rodriguez, is the president of the National Assembly. And they seem to have responded well to the demands of the Trump administration. They've allowed in between 30 million to 50 million barrels of oils to be sold by the U.S. in the international market. Yesterday was the first announced the first sale of that amount of oil, $500 million that entered U.S. coffers to be managed by the United States. So right now, what the Venezuelan people are seeing in very small amounts is the release of some political prisoners. About 56 out of the close to 1,000 political prisoners that the regime have been released. But we're also seeing, Perry, some armed groups known as colectivos. These are pretty much gangs that have been armed by the regime in popular neighborhoods in Caracas take to the street and set up checkpoints. They're searching people's phones for signs of celebrations for the removal of Nicolás Maduro. And they're also apparently looking for American citizens. And that's why over the weekend, the State Department and the Trump administration warned U.S. citizens in Venezuela to leave as soon as possible.
Wow. So there's a lot there. So, Louis, can she be trusted, in your opinion?
I think she can be trusted as far as that she knows that a third of the U.S. Navy's parked right there in the South Caribbean Sea, ready to take military action like they did against against Nicolás Maduro and his wife Cilia Flores if she doesn't walk the line that the United States is demanding of her. Yesterday, we saw the Senate vote against a war powers resolution that would have limited President Trump's ability to take any further military action in Venezuela. So that did not pass. That's still within the cards of the Trump administration. And I think that the threat of future military action and how strategic and clinical that military action can be is what keeps Delcy Rodriguez in line. At the end of the day, Perry, she was part of the regime. She's committed crimes against the Venezuelan people. She's also helped funnel corruption money out of the oil industry and has been in charge of some of the repressive apparatus in the country. So she's no saint. She's not someone that the Venezuelan people trust. Who they trust right now is the Trump administration to keeping the pressure on Delcy Rodriguez. And we've heard from Marco Rubio that this process is a three-phase process. First is the political civilization, and that's important to understand. You can't just take out Maduro and put in the opposition leader and expect the security forces to obey her commands. You'd probably see a coup if that had been the case soon after. The second would be the economic revival of Venezuela through the entry of American oil companies to re-energize that sector. We used to produce over 3 million barrels of oil a month, and now it's only 900,000 barrels of oil a month, and that's because the government has let the industry go to shambles. And then the third last part of that process, of that three-phase process, would be economic democratic transition. So hopefully within a year or soon after, we should be seeing free and fair elections in Venezuela.
Does she see herself as temporary?
I think so. I think that as the reporting goes, she had offered through the Qatari government, through the Emir of Qatar, that she would just be a transition figure. And this is speculation, but I would say it's informed speculation, that part of the negotiations would include her receiving some sort of amnesty, her being able to, once this transition period is over, leave Venezuela, probably with the amount of money that she has stolen from corruption, and leave quietly somewhere else in exile. That's certainly been the case of other regimes in history, and would be something smart for her to do, hand over Maduro. And we also are pretty sure that Delcy Rodriguez had something to do with why the security forces in Venezuela did not respond during Operation Absolute Resolve as they could have, and how easily Maduro was captured. So I don't think she should be trusted. I think she knows that she's a temporary figure, and that's her way out. That's her way out of not facing justice, as likely many other members of the regime will in the medium to long term in Venezuela.
I guess the other part, Louis, is how many other members of the Maduro regime are still in place? Do you have any idea how big that is?
Yeah, well, everyone else is still in place. The only one who was removed was Maduro and Cilia Flores. And you have at least 200 generals of the Venezuelan armed forces that are, quote unquote, loyal to the regime. And this loyalty is, of course, through the money that they're making through either corruption or the cartel of the Suns. Because let's remember that the Venezuelan regime was pretty much a cartel. So they use the armed forces, their bases, even their equipment to export cocaine through Venezuela, out of Colombia and through Venezuela. So you got the armed forces, and then you have very important political figures like the Minister of Defense, Vladimir Padrino Lopez, and the Minister of Interior, who is in charge of all the repressive security apparatus and the National Police. That's Diosdado Cabello. So let's say that about 200 to 400 people that are key figures in the regime are still in place. Some of them might receive amnesty in a transition. Some of them are, I think, irredeemable. I would point to the Minister of Interior, who controls the repressive apparatus, Diosdado Cabello. I would put money that he won't escape justice. He either will be captured by the current regime and handed over to Venezuela, to American authorities. He had a $25 million bounty on his head, indicted in U.S. courts, or will try to escape, or worst case scenario, who ends up being killed in the middle of a security operation. But yeah, it's a significant number of people in the regime that remain there. But the important thing is these loyalties are not ideological loyalties. These loyalties are economic loyalties that give them positions of power and money. So there's a negotiation to be made in order for a transition, an orderly transition, to happen to democracy.
Okay, so with the embargo of the oil industry, where is the remaining regime getting their money to sustain themselves?
Well, the embargo is just allowing for the U.S. to manage the sale of oil. So, like, it's not that the regime's not going to receive any of this money. It's just how it's going to be managed. So yesterday we heard from Delcy Rodriguez, the interim president of Venezuela, saying that she's going to put all of the money from the oil sales that happened through the United States into the medical sector in Venezuela. And that, of course, will depend on the Trump administration if they see that that's where the money should go to. There's obviously also the drug trafficking. It's still happening. Just because 97% of the trafficking that happens through sea has been caught off through Operation Southern Spear doesn't mean that other drug trafficking isn't happening. There's also minerals. There's a lot of gold in Venezuela, rare earth minerals, where the regime can still make some money, and the reserves, right? So, I think it's not like the spigot was completely closed and now the regime has no money. It just has limited amounts left to be able to continue to buy those loyalties from the armed forces.
Yeah, it's interesting. Okay, so what's the feeling of the average citizen in Venezuela these days?
Well, it's been 27 years that Venezuela has lived under a dictatorship, because first was Hugo Chavez, who then handpicked his successor, Nicolás Maduro. And we've had elections in Venezuela pretty much every December since, and every year Venezuelans had the hope that that was going to be the year where things changed. So to a point, the Venezuelan people had resigned to the political change and were mostly focused on the economic necessities that they had. But definitely the removal of Nicolás Maduro has injected a sense of optimism. And also it's very important that maybe it's not a message that the American people found attractive, but the fact that President Trump said that American oil companies were going to go and pour billions of dollars of investment into the Venezuelan economy to revive their oil sector has definitely re-energized the markets in Venezuela. We've already seen the Caracas Stock Exchange jump 170%. Venezuelan bonds, government bonds, have also gone up. So there's hope, which is something we didn't have before. And I think it's very important because, yes, we're still, at the bare bottom of our history as a country, but at least now we know that going forward we can only get better. Hopefully, with a orderly transition to democracy that allows for foreign companies to come in and invest with some sort of legal framework and protection.
So interesting. One quick question before I take a break. Do you think the oil companies are actually going to come back and do all that?
I mean, obviously, oil companies, when they're looking at their investments, they're not thinking about 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years. They're looking at decades of worth of investment. So there are some companies that will be hesitant to do so because they don't know if the political stability will last. But the fact that the Trump administration is offering some form of reimbursement for their investments through the sale of Venezuelan oil controlled by the United States government, that might incentivize the companies to go in. And I mean, Venezuela does have the largest proven oil reserves in the world. And you can increase 50% the output of Venezuelan oil in Venezuela within 18 months, within a year and a half worth of investment. So there's definitely some companies, and we saw it during that meeting in between oil executives and President Trump, that are willing to go in, and others that are waiting to see if political stability will allow for their investments to be secured long term.
Excellent. All right, let me take a quick break. Check out Lewis's website, ntd.com. Right there, there's a picture of the landing page. Very resourceful, and I think you'll find it to be pretty informative. ntd.com. We'll be right back.
Jesus is the answer for the world today. Above him there's no other, 'cause Jesus is the way. Jesus is the answer for the world today. Above him there's no other, 'cause Jesus is the way. Sing along.
The threat of wildfire poses a growing risk to Oregonians. You can prepare now by taking 3 important steps. Create a home inventory, make copies of important financial records, and contact your insurance company to make sure you have the right amounts and types of home insurance coverage. Be wildfire ready by being insurance ready. Visit dfr.oregon.gov/prepare now to learn how.
Finding that next great series to binge watch is fun, but your neck, shoulders, and body don't count that as me time. Hi, I'm Tamara Miller, owner of Organic Element Spa, and I invite you to put down the remote, get off the couch, and schedule yourself some real me or we time with your favorite service, like one of our many massages, couples massages, or facials. Your health, safety, and comfort are always top priority with us at Organic Element Spa. We can't wait to see you. Book your appointment today.
Combining your home and auto insurance could save you time and money. And who doesn't like that? Want surprisingly great rates on auto, home, and life? Now's the time to call State Farm agent Rory Wold in Medford.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
All right, welcome back. Luis Martinez is with us today. He's a political commentator there with the NTD TV. So honored to have him. He's coming in live from Washington, D.C. A lot to talk about there. You just got so much to share with us. What's your feelings, Luis, about Colombia now?
So 1/3 of the cocaine that's produced in South America was coming out of Venezuela, but the other 2/3 are coming out of Colombia through the Eastern Pacific. And we know that the leftist president there, Gustavo Petro, the first ever leftist president in Colombia's modern democratic history, has had ties with the cartels. We also know that the ELN, the Ejército de Liberación Nacional, and the FARC dissidents that had moved into Venezuelan territory under the protection of the Maduro regime have now moved back into Colombia, fearing airstrikes from the U.S. military. So Colombia has now become a new center of attention when it comes to narco-terrorism, and of course Mexico as well. Now, Perry, the good news is that 2026, Colombia has presidential elections, and all the polls suggest that a right-leaning candidate will win the elections. And this will bring back good relations with the United States. For the last 20 years, Colombia had been the main recipient of security assistance from the United States through Plan Colombia. So that will likely return and allow for, again, the coca fields to be subject to destruction by the Colombian government, unlike what this government has been doing. And we knew that President Trump issued a threat to Gustavo Petro, and immediately Gustavo Petro picked up the phone and had a conversation with President Trump. And there's rumors of a potential visit from Gustavo Petro to the White House in the near future. So Colombia, unfortunately, is still breaking annual records of cocaine production. But the good news is that we will likely see a new government that is more open to combating head-on the cartels with the assistance of the United States. And then the big question would be, how does the Mexican government of Claudia Sheinbaum respond to the Trump administration's desire to once and for all put an end to the scourge that drug trafficking has been to the entire region.
That's fascinating. So what's your take on Cuba these days?
Well, a little known fact, but now it's coming out in the news. Venezuelans for over 20 years had been saying that the Cubans had infiltrated the Venezuelan government and taken over the regime, and that pretty much Venezuela was being run by Cuba. And when people would say that internationally, it would be like, oh, you're crazy. You're just making things up. Like, how can Cuba control Venezuela? Well, when they captured Nicolás Maduro through Operation Absolute Resolve, turns out that his most inner security circle were 32 counterintelligence Cuban agents. So at least all those Venezuelans, including myself, who have been denouncing the influence of communist Cuba in Venezuela for the past 27 years, have found some validation to our denunciation of that. Now, Cuba has also been uplifted by the Venezuelan regime for the past 20-something years through subsidized oil sales and even sometimes just free oil that Cuba was receiving from Venezuela. And this is important because oil is energy, and energy is electricity and powers industry and everything in Cuba. Now that there is a quarantine of Venezuelan oil, a blockade that is not allowing for Venezuelan oil to be shipped out elsewhere to China or to Cuba, the Cuban regime will have some tricky questions to answer in the near future as their economy continues to crumble and collapse without subsidized Venezuelan oil. The bad news is that the Mexican government of Claudia Sheinbaum has decided to send more than 80,000 barrels of oil to Cuba on humanitarian grounds, knowing that they are no longer receiving Venezuelan oil. But it is the belief, and we've heard it from Marco Rubio and from President Trump, it is the Trump administration's belief that the Cuban regime might just fall by itself without the need of foreign intervention, and that just the crippling economy will bring the regime to its knees. Of course, that's something that lovers of freedom all over the world have been wishing for decades. It's not the first time that Cuba loses its main sponsor. In 1991, when the Soviet Union collapsed, Cuba also lost a lot of subsidies from the Soviet Union, and the regime managed to survive. And we've seen it with Venezuela, we've seen it with Iran, we've seen it with Cuba. As long as the regime has rifles with bullets in them, it's hard for people to revolt and successfully overthrow a regime.
Absolutely fascinating. So back to your other point, Louis, how influential was Cuba inside Venezuela and its management, or the government management with Maduro?
Well, it is believed that the entire security apparatus, how it operated, was managed by the Cubans. And, to the point that Nicolás Maduro's predecessor, Hugo Chavez, would routinely go to Cuba to receive instructions as to how to go forward. And let's go back in history. So the Cuban Revolution, 1959, was a communist revolution that wanted to take over all of Latin America. And Fidel Castro, and I'm not making this up, this is part of history, and it's in his writings, he wanted to take over Venezuela to use its resources to finance the revolution throughout Latin America. In the 60s, the Cubans actually attempted a armed invasion of Venezuela and failed. And I guess that in 1999, when Hugo Chavez came into power, they found a new way to sponsor the communist/socialist revolution throughout Latin America with the use of Venezuelan resources. And that's actually what happened. So the Venezuelan regime sponsored or gave money for campaigns for socialist candidates in Bolivia that elected Evo Morales, in Argentina that brought the Kirchners to power, in Colombia, they tried in Panama, in Brazil with Lula. So the influence of the Cuban regime in Venezuela, it was very significant. It's believed that at least 30,000 Cuban agents operate freely in the country and within the regime and pretty much shadow every part of government to direct it. And now without Maduro in the picture, with that inner circle killed during Operation Absolute Resolve, we'll see if the Delcy Rodriguez administration of Venezuela will start cutting ties with Cuba, either deporting or expelling these Cuban agents from Venezuelan soil. We'll have to see if that actually takes place and how it takes place.
How come we're not hearing that in American news?
Well, obviously, there's a lot of polarization in American politics, and mainstream and legacy media is focused on condemning President Trump for taking military action, even though it was within his constitutional power to do so. If you scavenge through the headlines, you will find that the Cuban government, the regime, admitted that their Cuban agents were killed in that operation, meaning that they are there protecting the regime. Historically, it's been so. And it's not only Cuba. It's important to understand also, Perry, that the Venezuelan regime had given out in between 2,500 to 5,000 passports to Iranian and Lebanese Hezbollah-affiliated citizens. So now with a Venezuelan passport, they can operate freely in South America. They can transit freely in South America, and that's a main U.S. adversary right there. And then again, if you look at Venezuela's telecommunications industry and the surveillance, the state surveillance that the regime uses to repress its people, it's all Chinese technology, with more than $90 billion of Chinese loans lifting up the Venezuelan regime for over the past 20 years. And if you look at the Venezuelan armed forces weapons, their fighter jets, their Sukhoi Russians, their air defense systems are the Buk and the S-300 Russian defense systems, which terribly failed during Operation Absolute Resolve. But what I'm trying to get at here is that you have every main adversary of the U.S., governments and regimes that have openly wished for the destruction and constantly operate to the detriment of the United States, are operating freely through Venezuela with the aid of the Venezuelan regime. And that's no little matter. That's a very important beachhead for U.S. adversaries to operate in what you can call U.S.'s backyard, but also the Western Hemisphere as a whole.
Gosh, that's absolutely fascinating. I'm going to run out of time, but let me ask you this. So you got Cuba that could fall on its own. You got Venezuela, which has been tremendously rearranged and now going through this transition. Colombia could go through a presidential election that could end up with a little bit of a right-leaning administration. Where does that leave Nicaragua and Mexico?
Well, Nicaragua has flown under the radar, but the reason Nicaragua, as a dictatorship and a communist dictatorship, that it has flown under the radar is because it has very little influence on Western Hemisphere affairs. It doesn't have an external impact like Venezuela has been having, like Colombia has been having. And then in the case of Mexico, the Mexican government, even though rhetorically the president is very, anti-U.S., very nationalist, very socialist, she has actually bowed down to some of the demands from the Trump administration. Right now, you have reconnaissance drones, U.S. military reconnaissance drones operating in Mexican soil with the permission of the Mexican government to counter cartel activities. Something that, not long ago was unfathomable just because of the nationalist rhetoric of the Morena, the ruling party in Mexico. Like, how can you allow the Americans to surveil our country? Well, now it's being allowed because of pressure the Trump administration has put on Claudia Sheinbaum. And it's a reality that over 50% of the Mexican country, like the territory, is controlled by the cartel. So she just got elected. She, I think, has 4 more years in power. It'll be interesting to see how that relationship with the Trump administration continues. But, Nicaragua doesn't seem to be impacting Central America as much. If Cuba and Venezuela end up finally flipping from communist socialist regimes into democracy, that would spark a new chapter in the Western Hemisphere and in Latin America as a whole, pretty much putting an end to the communist experiment that failed and brought so much tragedy to our people.
Fascinating. You're fascinating. Thank you for your time. Can we get you back?
Of course. Whenever you want, Perry.
Wow.
It's great to be with you.
Well, you're giving us insight that you don't hear anywhere else, and it all makes sense. But what an incredible time. I mean, you see your own homeland go through this kind of transition. You got to be hopeful, don't you?
Yeah. I mean, January 3rd, I had my grandmother called my mom, who's here in the United States, and it's like, hey, we're hearing the bombs. Do you know anything? And the truth is, I cried that Saturday on multiple occasions of joy because we've been waiting for this moment. We've been waiting for a glimmer of hope, and now we have it. It won't be an easy path forward. The transition won't be easy. The regime is still in power, but now we actually have the support of the United States, and it's actually willing to put the money where its mouth is. Like what they're promising, what the U.S. has been talking about all of these years about democracy, about defeating dictators, about allowing for freedom to prosper. Now we have a chance because someone actually did something about it. And it's really funny because I know that from a U.S. perspective, if you turn on the news and you see that, oh, Trump, and maybe if you're not a fan of President Trump, and you see that he ordered a military operation and took the leader of another country, just ask a Venezuelan, and there's plenty of them in the U.S. There's over 780,000 Venezuelans in the United States right now. Just ask a Venezuelan why we're happy that this happened, that we now have a hope for freedom in the future.
You're fascinating. We value your time. Thank you so much. I look forward to having you back. Let me say, Lewis's website is ntd.com. There's a picture of the landing page, and I think there's where you're going to find firsthand news and reliable news of what's going on over there. ntd.com. Lewis, thank you, friend. God bless you. Let's stay in touch, okay?
Thank you so much, Perry, and God bless America.
Okay.
He's got the whole world in his hands, and he knows the plans for us. Above and beyond we could ask or imagine, his grace is more than enough. It's in his hands, it's in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. Come on, Steve.
Come fall in love with Northridge Senior Living, where contemporary, sunlit interiors meet old world elegance. Walk through our lovely hallways and enjoy the fun staff-led activities. Forge lasting friendships with other residents and our exceptional caregivers. Dine in style. Gather near the fireplace under breathtaking chandeliers. Our reasonably priced apartments are spacious with private balconies. Northridge is Christian-owned and operated, pet-friendly, and only 2 blocks from Asante Rogue Regional Medical Center. On-site, in-home care is available. We also offer senior adult daycare, where your loved one can spend the day with us and the evenings with you. Northridge Senior Living. Your home.
Don't let pain hold you back. I'm Dr. Joel Brind, and I developed Sweetamine to stop inflammation the all-natural way. Just use it like a sweetener once a day. It's that simple. My unique formula harnesses the power of glycine and works around the clock to boost your overall health, stopping chronic inflammation that causes pain. Try my 12-day challenge risk-free for just $19.95 with free shipping at sweetamine.com or call 1-855-GET-SWEET today. Relief has never been so sweet.
Welcome back, and always an honor when we have time to sit down with our very good friend, Dr. Gene Getz. He is the chief editor of this Life Essential Study Bible, which is one of the great resources of our day. I'm so encouraged by people when I run into them all over town that they've bought one of these or they bought one and gave one away. It's one of the great resources of our day where there's over 1,500 QR codes from Genesis to Revelation, where Dr. Getz has gone in there and has recorded a video commentary on that portion of Scripture. So if you don't have one of these, you're missing out. If you get one, you're in. And it's been known as a seminary in a box. So there we go. Brother Gene, how you doing, friend? Good to see you.
Hey, doing great.
Good to see you.
How are you doing?
Oh, first of the year. I don't know if I'm already tired.
Well, you're looking good, and just heard your previous segment, and you're coming across loud and clear.
Oh, good. Thank you so much. Well, we only got you for one go-around here, so I got to squeeze it in, but it's a good one, too. It has to do with selective hearing. Now, my wife accuses me of that.
That's where I was going to end with an illustration. Not about you, but about me.
Okay, well, we're men. We're guilty of that, right? So that's how it goes.
Right.
All right, we'll go to 1 Kings in the Old Testament, chapter 22. It's an amazing principle here, and thank you for selecting it. Walk us through this, Gene.
Yeah, the principle is we should always be open to hearing the truth rather than only listening to information that supports our selfish agendas. And it really relates to a very fascinating story here in the Old Testament involving Jehoshaphat, who was the king of Judah, and Ahab, who was the king of Israel. Jehoshaphat went to visit him, and Ahab said, hey, I want to go to battle against my enemies. I want you to join me. And Jehoshaphat was certainly hesitant about that, and he said, have you sought advice and wisdom? And he said, well, basically, I haven't, but I will. And he went and sought advice from his 400 prophets, really, of Baal. They were all pagans. Of course, they told Ahab exactly what he wanted to hear. They're not going to tell him anything the opposite. And he comes back and he tells Ahab or Jehoshaphat about it, and Jehoshaphat is very wise. He said, "Isn't there a prophet of the Lord that you can go to?" And it's really interesting that Ahab came back and he said, "Yeah, there's a guy by the name of Micaiah," and he said, "But I don't like him. I hate him because he always tells me bad things, and I don't want to listen to him." But Jehoshaphat said, well, you better go back and you really ought to check with him. So he did. And Micaiah said, hey, you're going to be defeated. Well, Ahab has him thrown in prison. He goes to battle and he's killed, actually, and defeated. And it's a sad situation. So, out of that comes a very interesting principle, I think, that applies to all of us, and that is that it's very, very easy for us to want to support our own agenda, to be selective in our listening. And by the way, I was thinking about this, and I want to be political, and this is your area, but there's a lot of selective listening going on today. And you may want to comment on that. You're the specialist.
No, I'm not a specialist. I just got dirty T-shirts and stitches from being in the game. But one of the big battles as we speak right now is the advisors around President Trump as to what he should or should not do relative to Iran. And one of the concerns from from people inside Israel, especially there with the Jewish News Syndicate, which is kind of the leading publication there, they're concerned that he may be getting advice to be a little soft here and leave a little portion of the regime in place so that maybe they can negotiate with him. So what a tough spot. I mean, if you're a leader and if you only seek out people that you want to say it the way you want to hear it, well, there's a classic example. You could end up dead.
That's absolutely right. And the other thing I was thinking about is that when you listen particularly to the left wing media, in terms of the way they report the news. It appears, at least, that what they do is they'll take a statement but not have the context and choose to report what feeds that agenda, an agenda that's out there that they've already made up their mind. And I think that, we're all guilty of wanting to support our position. And if that position is not accurate, we're going to engage in selective listening. And I would think some of that's going on.
Let me lean on your years of being a pastor, and people come into your office for advice, and you listen to them, and you know that you have to say something that is contrary to what they're thinking and the direction they're going in. Now, I've done enough lay counseling to know that a lot of people come in and all they really want is justification for their thoughts. They don't really want to hear the truth. How have you managed that as a pastor?
Well, the interesting thing, we can learn a great lesson from this prophet in the Old Testament. He didn't compromise. And by the way, he ended up in prison because he wouldn't compromise, and we don't know really what happened to him. But the lesson there is that we need to be sensitive, but we need to not compromise, because if we don't tell the truth, we're in violation of the will of God. And so I've tried very hard to make sure, however, that I do have the facts and I do have the accuracy, in the situation. So I think it's very important to listen and to try very hard to get really an accurate perspective. But once we have that accurate perspective, we need to speak the truth in love. And one thing that I've tried to do to be sensitive is say, maybe I'm not hearing all the facts in this situation, but based on what I hear, and this is what I hear, this I have to tell you is what I believe is the right thing to do. So a lot of it, I think, Perry, has to do with being sensitive in relationship to the way we communicate. Now, in this particular Old Testament deal here, Micah had a direct word from God. So he didn't, skirt around the bush. He just said, boom, this is what's going to happen. So you have a very direct, true message. And for us, I think we have to just make sure that we're hearing correctly in these situations. But once we hear correctly, we must speak the truth, but always to speak the truth in love.
Pulling from your own experiences, what advice can you give people who are facing a big decision in seeking advice or looking for confirmation? I mean, obviously the Word of God, maybe speaking to a pastor, maybe looking and hearing voices outside of the situation. How do you advise them to do that?
Okay, elaborate on that just a little bit.
If somebody is facing a very big decision, and I'm sure there's a lot of people right now that are, how would you advise them to seek advice?
Well, I would advise them to talk to people that they know will tell them the truth, not just friends, but people who will listen carefully and be honest with them. Because if they just go to a friend, friends have a tough time, coming out and just saying what is right, what is true. And I think they have to get beyond just friendships to those that really will listen and be honest with them.
What part in decision making does the Word of God play?
Well, it's absolutely foundational. If there's something that relates to the will of God in a particular situation, we need to go to where we can find the will of God. And you know, I'm committed to the Scriptures, and if something is in violation of the Scriptures, we have to deal with it. I have to speak with it. I can't live with my own conscience if I don't go to the Word of God when I know that it's a violation of the Word of God. And it takes a lot of wisdom to know whether or not there are direct scriptural passages that come to bear upon a particular situation.
Yeah.
By the way, one person I think that's done a lot of work in that area is June Hunt.
Oh, yeah.
In terms of her principles and guidelines in counseling in all kinds of different situations. And she goes right directly to the Scriptures, and she's given us some good resources in that sense.
Gene, you're fascinating. Give us an update of the Bibles. Your numbers are staggering. What's going on with the ministry here?
Well, we're just so excited with the opportunities that God is giving us. In fact, next week I'm going to be in a Zoom call talking about the possibility, and this is a little premature to say it, but I'm going to say it because we need prayer, about the possibility of getting the Bible into Portuguese. You know, we have it in Spanish, and God's using it, and you know, for every Bible we sell, we give one away. We've already given away over 10,000 Spanish Bibles to pastors who could never afford one. And there are a lot of people within Brazil, the same situation, where they could just never afford a study Bible. And there is interest. We're responding to a former missionary and to a pastor, key pastor in Brazil, who really want to see the Bible in Portuguese. So I would just request prayer that we might be able to get that into that language. I almost said to pray, if it's the will of God, that we might get it into that language. I think it probably is the will of God. We just need to find out how to get the Word of God into that particular language. So that's exciting.
Well, pray for them. And let me say to our viewers and listeners, you can go to BiblePrinciples.org is the website. There's a picture of the landing page where you can order one of these Bibles through there. If you buy it through there, like you said, you buy one, they give one away. Get the Spanish version as well. You can also download their app. Their app is absolutely fascinating. So everything that's on the Bible can be on the app. You can check that out there. And that is just amazing. And I do know that some of our local bookstores are carrying your Bible, so check it out there. And it's called the Life Essential Study Bible. There's a picture of it right there on the screen. I'm holding it up. And I can't tell you how I have blessed people by giving them your Bible. You've made me look really good.
Well, thank you. That's so exciting. I appreciate it and love your ministry, Perry, and thanks for the privilege of being with you.
Well, we love you too, Jane. So look forward to many visits. Say hi to your sweetheart, and we'll connect again soon.
Likewise. Bye-bye.
I was intrigued by the international news reporting, and then there were also so many stories of hope and encouragement.
When you meet the needs of others, he meets your needs.
One day I came across a video through YouTube of CBN. Terry said, "The Lord's healing you."
I want to see that program every day. It lifts me up. It gives me hope.
Watch the 700 Club weekdays at 11 on the Dove TV.
Welcome to Rise Direct Primary Care. Imagine a healthcare experience where you're known by name, cared for like family, and treated with compassion. How is that possible? With an affordable, flat monthly membership, you receive unlimited primary care and minor urgent care visits. No insurance needed. At Rise Direct Primary Care, we offer a friendly, affordable healthcare experience where you get a whole hour with your provider. Located in Central Medford and accessible by phone or text, we can typically get you in the same or next day. We prescribe urgent care medications directly from our office, saving you a trip and wait time at the pharmacy when you'd rather be at home getting better. Personalized medical care with a human touch. Rise Direct Primary Care is all about healing the sick with compassion and keeping the healthy healthy. Rise Direct Primary Care. We're here for you. Visit risehealthdpc.com or call or text us 541-827-8603. 541-827-8603.
Hey, this is Ed, co-owner of Visiting Angels. To continue to serve our seniors, we need more caregivers with a heart to serve. Our mission statement is honoring the art of giving, which means we honor you, the caregiver. We know it's our people that make Visiting Angels the best in-home care provider and a great place to work. Come be our next amazing caregiver. Give us a call or apply online. At Visiting Angels, we're committed to you because we honor the art of giving.
To check in with a good friend of ours. His name is Renard Jackson. He's the president and CEO of Renard Jackson and Associates. He's a national advocate for black entrepreneurism, and you see him all over the place, and he's been one of our favorite guests for a long time, so it's always a joy to have him. Brother Renard, good to see you, friend. How are you, buddy?
Perry, good to see you too, man. I love the new backdrop you have there to set there. I mean, I'm jealous.
Well, you should be. That's where we live. That's where we live. So come visit us.
I know, Perry, we've been talking about that for a while, but I guarantee within the first quarter of this year, we're going to be out there.
Okay. Hey, good to see you. Got a lot going on. I know we got cut short a little bit. A lot going on. Let me just cut to the chase. We're going into a midterm election. By the way, I have seen you all over the place, meeting some very high-ranking people. I want to say thank you for your passion and being out there, because I know your heart. And so congratulations on where the Lord's been placing you and using you.
Thank you.
As we go into the midterm, how would you assess the black voter in America today?
Well, I think how we ended the year, this last year, Perry, as far as the Trump administration engagement with the minority entrepreneur, I'm optimistic because as you and I have talked for years now, Perry, if you want to move the black vote, get the black businessmen on your side, and they are the best advocates into the black community, more so than even the preachers. So based on the way we ended and having people like the Secretary of the Treasury, Scott Bessent, the Chief of Staff, Susie Wiles, who I've known both of them for a while, I know what their heart is and their passion is. And if we continue what we started last year going into this year, I think we will do okay in the congressional elections in November.
Okay. Is affordability really an issue?
Well, it's interesting that you mentioned that, Perry, because I've had a lot of discussions over the past month about that. Number one, you walk down the street anywhere USA, Perry, and you start talking affordability, people have no idea what the heck you're talking about. So I don't even like the terminology. And so versus affordability, we need to make sure more of the American people feel like our conservative policy are making their lives a lot better. And Perry, you know, I'm a big supporter of the president. I'm MAGA. As I told the president, I was MAGA before you were MAGA. And we need to spend more time on the domestic landscape here. I mean, he has quite a bit of success foreign policy-wise, Perry, but that's not making our lives easier in the U.S., just the average voter. We need to pay more attention to the domestic side. You don't turn a blind eye to foreign policy, but the people, the voters, they need to see more focus on the domestic issue, the economy, wages, and AI, and not so much the foreign policy. So I think the president got that message loud and clear over the holidays, and Venezuela notwithstanding, I think he's going to focus like a laser beam on the economy now.
All indications are 2026 economically will be a good year. However, we're in this pause moment where the policies haven't really kicked in yet. They probably will, starting maybe even this month. We'll start to see some increases. But it is kind of like a wait and see. Do you think it shows up in time for the midterm?
Without question. I think by the second quarter for sure, what Trump has done last year will finally be noticeable throughout the economy to every person, everyday life. What does that mean? You're going to see the price of gas continue to go down, and gas is a key input, whether it's manufacturing, whether it's making a loaf of bread or potato chips, whether it's going to McDonald's. Energy is a part of every raw cost, and so that's going down. People are beginning to feel more optimistic. We got the border under control. And Perry, just look at the amount of money these blue cities, New York City, Los Angeles, San Francisco, Chicago, how much money they're spending on people who are not even legally in the country at the detriment of residents and American citizens. That has been taken off the table by the president's strong policies on illegal immigration. And so I think with all this stuff coming through the pipeline by the second quarter, Perry, I think people will feel it at the point of sale, at the cash register, at the gas pump.
Has life gotten better for the black community in America?
That's a great question, Perry. Goodness gracious. You always come up with these insightful questions. Let me see if I can give you an insightful answer. So, within the economic realm, the small business community, I say yes. Has that been felt within the rank and file of the black community? I say no. And the reason I say no is, again, when you look at these top blue cities, New York, LA, San Francisco, what do they all have in common? Radical liberal Democrats. And until recently, most of those mayors were black Democrat radical extremists. And so now the black community has been awakened. Look at the protests in Chicago, New York. They see that these liberal Democrat politicians have been selling them a bill of goods. So what President Trump has been doing the past year is getting rid of a lot of these policies, forcing attention on the fraud in Minnesota. Now, and as you all probably heard out there where you are, Perry, that Walz, the governor of Minnesota, at noon D.C. time, will be announcing he's dropping out of the race for governor. That's a direct result of President Trump's policy and black folks being awakened to the fraud and how they've been used by Democratic politicians and see no advantage to their gain on the local level. So it's a mixed bag. The business community, I think, is doing okay, but the rank and file, the average voters that you and I are talking about, Perry, that's who are going to start seeing benefits as we move into the second quarter, I think.
Not all, but some black leaders are very liberal, as you've mentioned, and they get elected to public office, and they embrace a form of socialism. Do you think that the black church, or all churches, quite frankly, the faith community, but black churches as well, do you think they understand that socialism is the enemy of the church?
Another good question. I would answer you this way, Perry. The media-appointed black leaders, the Al Sharpton, the Jamal Bryants, they are an embarrassment not only to the black community, but to the church. And you look at the T.D. Jakeses, what the heck are you doing hanging out at one of Puff Daddy's party? And you are a man of the cloth. And so I think there's a big disconnect, Perry, between these media-appointed leaders and the rank and file in the black community. Therefore, look at what's going on in Chicago. You see all these black liberal Democrats who have been totally awakened by the policies Brandon Johnson has been forced and unleashed on the black community to benefit the illegals in Chicago. Blacks are waking up. Now, the question is the conservative movement, is President Trump, is the Republican Party
Applegate River Golf and RV Resort, a pristine 9-hole course alongside the Applegate River. Their clubhouse offers a golf simulator experience. The RV Resort is adjacent to the golf course with convenient pull-through parking. Applegate River Golf and RV Resort. Information at applegaterv.com.
Buying or selling a home can be stressful. It's one of the biggest decisions you'll make in your lifetime. That's why it's important to work with someone you trust, someone who has the right experience and knowledge of the market.
Hi, we're Patrick and Paulina Leiser with Leiser Real Estate Group.
And whether you're looking to buy or sell a home, our mission is to take the stress out of the transaction and make it as seamless and rewarding as possible.
Contact us today. We look forward to working with you.
Grab a cup of coffee
and start your day right.
Join us for Mornings on the Dove.
Good morning. You're tuned to the Dove, encouraging and informative, helping Oregon, Northern California, Idaho, and Nevada start the day with news and encouragement. This is Mornings on the Dove.
Good morning and welcome to Mornings on the Dove for this, later it is, Thursday morning. Better known as Friday. Yeah! And you're still going to have to feel your way to work this morning in some areas.
Is the truth. I thought maybe we'd have a little less today, but no, it's pretty soupy out there.
Well, let me qualify that because we have an interesting thing going on.
What?
The south end of the valley is clear.
Yeah.
The north end of the valley, from about the Manor North, it's just socked in, including the airport. And we're also dealing with what they call an air stagnation alarm. So the air quality's not good.
Right.
Fog's on the ground. It's icy and slippery. I did slip a little bit this morning.
Yeah.
I went around a corner and went,
don't step on it.
Just a little bit to let you know that it was there,
Yeah. Hey, do you have one of those little lights on your dash that indicates when you're losing traction to your tires?
Well, in Peggy's car, yes.
Okay, because my little lights flash and I'm going, what's going on?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, it's slipping.
So she's got this thing on the dash.
Mm-hmm.
Is it okay to take a hammer to a dash?
Whose dash? Peggy's?
I'm driving her car, right?
Uh-huh.
And I'm looking around, and all of a sudden, beep, 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 and there's a little thing on the down by the speedometer. Keep your eyes on the road.
Oh, no way. No way.
Yes.
Are you serious?
So there's two little things in the front and on the side that's watching your eyeballs.
Because you have that's got self-driving assist, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's kind of like, the interesting thing about that reminds me of what the Holy Spirit is.
All right.
Well, the Holy Spirit, if you're driving down, if you're doing something wrong and you're starting to go off a little bit, doesn't the Holy Spirit kind of nudge you back?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, my car's full of the Holy Spirit.
Holy Spirit.
Well, Peggy's car is. Okay. But it's got this stupid, aggravating feature that if you just look this way, if I was driving right now and looked at you, it would beat me.
It's the goad. Oh my goodness.
Anyway, hey, good morning to you. Happy Wednesday. Drive carefully. Bottom line out there, drive carefully. Good morning to you. A ton of news. Wow. It's ever changing, and we'll get you up. Excuse me. We'll get you updated on that. What's up?
Well, I think here is something on this day that most of us can really agree upon. It's a good thing. We all probably could use one right now. I know I could. It's National Bagel Day.
Oh!
Yeah!